I just saw that thumbnail. Welcome to the Backlash, a weekly exploration of America's awakening. I am your host, Rebecca Hargraves, joined as always by Mr. Dave Riley. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great.
And finally, we
know.
have back with us the one and only
Cameron McGregor, a tired, worn out, forlorn Cameron.
I'm getting old, man. I'm a bit knackered. That's for sure.
You're speaking to us from the future. We're going to have to get into this. I want to know what insights we have from 2026 that we could capitalize on back here in 2025.
I'm sure he'll have those answers for us in our yearly wrap-up segment that we're going to do at the end.
We did that?
We are going to do that.
Okay. I haven't prepped for that.
Oh, that's why there's a section at the bottom that just says Dave.
And it's empty.
It's empty, yeah. You can find us on X at Real Backlash, our website, thebacklash.net. Support us on subscribestar.com/thebacklash, patreon.com/thebacklash. Send your super chats that will be read live, $10 and up on the Wednesday show at the end of our show to thebacklash.net/super chat, or right here on my YouTube channel, or on our YouTube channel at Real Backlash. Please help us get those numbers up. 2,500 subs. That's so depressing.
It's
growing. It's growing slowly.
It's slowly growing.
We are going to transfer over there eventually. Find us on Rumble. That is Backlash Podcast. Find all of our links. Instagram, follow us there. TikTok, follow us there. On our website, thebacklash.net/subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. And a big thanks to our sponsors, Above Time Coffee Roasters. That is handcrafted small batch, delicious coffee. Idaho Tallow, skincare without endocrine disruptors, and Antelope Hill, publishers of white positive literature. The number one complaint outside of everybody hating Dave in the comments is that we just don't get to the news fast enough.
Okay. Well, let's get to it.
Well, no, I was gonna talk about some other stuff.
Also got ODGG Supply, and they're another sponsor of this.
Oh yeah,
fine
thank
podcast.
you, ODGG Supply. That is so hard to say.
It was so funny. I saw a tweet the other day. The Jews are very upset about our program, and they were like, "Oh, look, you see, they only made $10 on Monday. Who's paying for this?" And it's like the sponsors.
Yeah.
Fucking
of course.
idiot.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Also, it's pretty low overhead. Like, we do this in your house. You had most of the equipment anyway. I mean,
True. Yeah.
We still need your support.
Yes, desperately.
Because I am trying to get a panel underway of speakers. I think I want it to be like a fun kind of eat, drink, and be merry event in St. Louis around April 9th. That is date TBD. Also, I've emailed 50 venues and nobody has responded. So if you know of any venues that I could do something like this in St. Louis, Lauren Chen has expressed interest, Basil, I Hypocrite, Jay Dyer. Who else do we have?
Tim Gordon said that he was interested.
Tim Gordon said that he was in. Chud, Chud looks Max or N-word guy.
Yeah.
He's looking into it.
The guy that I took shots at in my stream last night. My bad.
What? I should have told you first.
I didn't know. I don't know. These networks are getting increasingly complicated, and all these new people are like...
All these new people.
And I have less of a problem, I guess, with Chud than Vrillium. Let's just go there. Dude,
What did Chud ever do to you?
Chud didn't. I'm not a fan of the N-word saying in public,
But it's so funny.
Okay, so anyway, these people, they pop up out of nowhere. And they just come on the scene with these hot takes, and then they turn out to be trannies, like Vrillium.
Okay, Chud's not a tranny.
I
and
didn't say
Vrillium
Chud was
also
a
is not a
tranny.
tranny per se.
And then Bitch Slap Man was taking shots at me again because I quote tweeted him about the whole. Remember, he did a little segment with Lily Gaddis about how white men need to marry ran through white hoes. And I was like, this is the worst take ever. And he did a response last night, and he didn't say my name, but it was pretty clear who he was talking about. I
invited him on the show, and he said, yes, stop
we
nuking.
Should bring him, we can bring him on.
My opportunities.
But he's like, if you get married to a woman and she won't put out for you, then you should get a free pass to cheat on her. And it's like, time out. This is not good advice.
He's not married, though.
He's also not married. He doesn't have kids. He's young. He'll learn.
So I have this fear that if I do this event, that it's going to be lame, right?
It's not going to be lame. It's going to be great. And then we're going to take it on the road. We're going to go to New York.
Slow
We're
it
going to
down
go to
here, buddy.
Chicago. We'll do one in
Slow it
Arizona.
down. Let's do one. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if anyone shows up. And it will have to be a ticketed event. I want to have a food truck there. There's going to be a cash bar because this is like a wedding for poor people. And you're still going to have to pay for ticket entry. But it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be networking if I can get this off of the ground. So if you're in the region, it's not going to be in St. Louis, like in a black area.
True.
There are some white areas still.
My suggestion was like, I think we should go to that museum, the one with the
City Museum?
Yeah, with the statue of St. Louis, who based St. Louis the Ninth, who burned every copy of the Talmud in Paris.
It's definitely benefiting the
That's
city of
who
St. Louis.
St. Louis is named after.
Yeah.
St. Louis is literally named after based king that burned the Talmud.
And it's a terrible, crime-ridden
The Jews did that.
black city.
They did.
Wait, let me get my thing out. Let me get my
hold
spiel out.
grudges.
If you have interest in going to something like this, if you know of a venue, if you can think of other speakers that you might like to see, please send me a DM on Twitter that is blondes, plural, underscore tweets. Please do it. If I can't get like enough interest in this or get a venue going, there's just no way it's going to happen. And if 3 people show up, I'm going to be on suicide watch. So
Blondes underscore tweets.
Follow me there.
I know that girl.
hey, she was having a good hair day there too. Talk about Dave After Dark, then let's dive into the news.
Oh, yeah, I did a thing, guys. So there's been like a bunch of people that were like pressuring me on Twitter, like, you got to do it again. You got to do it again. And so this is finally like the first Dave After Dark that isn't like, about the whole Zionist church thing in Coeur d'Alene. Starting to branch out, do some different topics. And so if you want to watch that, it is live on our X account. We've got it on the YouTube, the Rumble. But okay, there was a little bit of an issue, right? I'm sick. And I sit down at my computer yesterday. The wife takes the kids to go to the tax office because that's a big topic. And it's like, hey, maybe we should go talk to the tax. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, I have a moment. I'm going to do a show. I'm going to do a solo show. And I click the button, I thought, to record, right? Because I'm sneezing, I'm coughing. I'm an absolute mess. I belong in bed. I need to go. I'm blanky mode.
What a fag.
And it turns out I didn't hit the record button. I hit the go live now button. And so I was live the whole time. There's a little bit of dead air, lots of coughing and sneezing. And so anyway, I put up an edited version on the YouTube. It's on the X. So if you want to go watch the less coffee, less sneezy, less dead air version.
When he called me and told me this, I was like, the potential for disaster was so high. And yet all that happened was coughing and sneezing.
Yeah. Well, people think that I'm different off air than I am on air, because most people put on a front when they're on the internet.
Oh, he's the same.
I'm literally just me. So if I were to just go live, do a reality TV show in my house, it would be exactly what you expect.
Which is why we are going to have a dunk tank for Dave at the St. Louis event.
I volunteer.
Okay, great.
Absolutely. That would be funny.
Yeah.
That would actually be really funny. I did that once for a fundraiser when I was in the Rotary Club back in Pennsylvania. I used to be on the board of directors of my local Rotary Club.
How much would you guys pay to
be
dunk
respected.
Dave?
I used to be highly respected, up-and-comer, board of directors of the town of Bloomsburg, board of directors of Rotary.
Okay, quit fluffing. Let's get to the news.
Now I'm just a dirty anti-Semite running a racist podcast in my living room.
The big story this week, you are a dirty anti-Semite. The big story this week has been the Somali news. Is this clip 1?
Yep.
Let's just start playing it.
Up and
man, this story.
Tech.
Tech.
Boomer tech.
Boomer tech.
Okay, let's get this queued up the right way at the beginning. It's a very good place to start.
Children here in your child care?
Which child care, ma'am? Is a lot of
Minnesota Child Care right here. It's from the state of Minnesota's website. We're just wondering where the children are.
Where the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.66 million this year in funding, and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And where are you? Which department? That is harassment.
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
Ooh.
Look at that. Shut us down. Where are the children at? No children inside of this daycare center. And look, at this daycare center right here, no children inside of this daycare center. But between those buildings, over $2.6 million. We're
Children here in your
Good
child?
Lord. Everybody's heard about the scam, so I'm not going to go into the basics, but let's pull up 8, can you?
Yes.
So remittances are a massive part of the Somalian economy. Second in their GDP, 25 to 40% of their GDP. So right now we're looking at social service scammers having stolen $9 billion. And this story has really just hit the news, although it's been underway for a long time. There was a whistleblower in 2018. This is clip 4. Let's pull this up.
Oh, wait. Because I didn't put clip 8 up.
That's okay. That is 8.
Well, this isn't a clip.
No.
It's just
That's why it's blue, Dave.
Oh, we have the colors mean something? Son of a bitch.
You know, women like to be organized. Let's pull up 4. I mean, they knew about this in 2018,
Yes.
at least.
$1 million figure came from Scott Stillman, a former Department of Human Services computer forensics director. He also alleged money from the daycare fraud was being sent to fund terrorists in Somalia. $1 million figure came from
Yeah, I know. And this Leering Center that is now famous, let's pull up 5. Leering Center was raided. This is the great Tom Hennessy. If you weren't following him on Twitter, you need to be. The infamous Quality Leering Center at 1411 Nicollet had already been raided by the FBI in 2015. It was then called Salama Child Care Center at the time. They simply obtained another license by making up a name at the same address. The FBI has been investigating that location for 10 years. And then you sent me this wonderful clip 7, that makes me like 3% less racist towards
Based.
American blacks.
See, folks, we're gonna all come together and shake hands. It's gonna be like the final scenes of Emily Eukas's Will Stancil Christmas
I haven't watched it yet.
special.
Don't tell me anything.
Oh my God.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
It is so good. If you haven't seen, they've got it shadow banned. If you haven't seen the Will Stancil Christmas special, it will warm the cockles.
I've carved out a perfect time
of your
tonight.
heart.
I'm going to sit there with my tea and I'm going to watch it. So don't tell me anything. Even though this guy is on the dole and he talks about like being a baby daddy and stuff, I still was like, I would take this over Somalis any day of the week.
At least he's American.
Yeah, at least it's American.
Jeez.
Bro, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I knew about the Somali shit 20 years ago. I had my son 20 years ago. I went to go get Section 8. Drove down to the Section 8 office in Columbus, Ohio, and guess who the fuck I seen? All Somalis in the parking lot. They was there for 8 hours already. Had tents and shit, vans parked. They had fucking tents. They had they vans parked in the parking lot and made tents, nigga. It's first come, first serve when you go to get help from the government, when you need aid, when you need financial aid. First come, first serve. You gotta wait behind a fucking 100 Somalians, nigga, to get. I'm American, bitch. I gotta wait behind 100 Somalians to even get help. Then when you wait after all these niggas, they be like, oh yeah, we don't got no more room left. We only had 80 spots. Yeah, 100 Somalians got all the motherfucking Section 8, nigga. I knew about this 20 years ago. I never did get the Section 8,
there's a
and the
lot of
government
evidence
don't
this
give
has
a
been
fuck.
being
The federal
investigated for a long time. Yet somehow Nick Shirley has broken the case wide open and it's like really breached the mainstream. I'm not really sure why this is happening right now.
I have the answers to all of your questions.
It was Jews?
It was Jews. And you know who called it? Do you know who called it before anything or anyone?
I did.
It was Rebecca.
I tweeted that it was Jews before I even knew that it was Jews.
Right here, we've got the proof. December 29th, 2025. No one's getting fooled by a bunch of 68 IQ Somalians. Women who shouldn't be able to vote, let alone secure a judgeship, worked in tandem to promote the retarded multicultural utopian fantasy. The remainder of the conspirators are either similarly low IQ minorities or traitorous, effeminate white men working at the behest of Jews. Wall for all. That's a good chant. Wall for all. Wall for all.
Yeah. I mean, it was obvious, but it does seem, yes, that Jews are also responsible for this.
Yes. And you know what? I got to give a big shout out. It's been a marathon content week. We had Tim yesterday.
Yep.
I did a show.
Yeah.
Or 2 days ago. I did a show yesterday. Then literally just like 2 hours ago, I joined DDG Sarah on the DD Geopolitics New Year's Eve special.
Nice.
And so if you want the full deep dive, you've got to head over to DD Geopol. We spent like an hour on this stuff.
That's a terrible picture of you.
Oh, I know. And the best part is like the story behind it. I was looking at, there was a guy, Rasmussen. His name is, I forget his first name. He's so irrelevant to me. But he was like on the GOP Central Committee, and I thought we were friends because he was kind of racist.
You're never friends.
And he was like a lawyer that worked on prosecuting all of the sex abuse scandals over at Gonzaga University. And he goes around with this big ass camera. And I knew that he was starting to get in bed with the Rhino Republicans. And we were at a town council meeting. And I was standing there on the wall, not pleased with what was going on. And I looked up. And I saw Rasmussen with his camera pointed directly at me.
Aww.
And I was like giving him this look like, not you. You're not going to do this to me,
That's when
Aria.
they get you.
And he did. He got me. He got me. And then he ran that. And then like I think the Daily Beast used that photo. So anyway, but so on the DD Geopolitics stream, we discussed a lot of why this Somalian story has broken containment and it's gone viral. It's being now confirmed by Zog apparatus, New York Post, right? They want people to be very upset about it. There is a strategy of tension in this country, and the reason why is explained to us by an Israeli journalist, right? This Israeli journalist is going to give us the scoop on what's going on. So let's take a listen.
How is the Israeli Mossad related to the recent corruption that was discovered in Minnesota? You're not going to believe it, but there actually is a substantial connection, and it runs through the Israeli Prime Minister office. I'll start from the end. Israel just established relationships with Somaliland, which is not Somalia. But the backstory to the whole Minnesota corruption story is that much of those funds, and again, I think the initial number that came out is about $9 billion. And again, this is crazy. American taxpayer money of, let's say, $15 billion that they imagine were stolen or misdiverted from public funds. About $9 billion of those were sent back to support terrorism, or what they would call the Muslim Brotherhood actions, and this is tied into Qatar. And Israel, of course, was behind the scenes, and I know people love these conspiracies, in leaking some of the information that is responsible or related to the funding of terrorism using that exact money. So the fact that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has a phone call and recognizes Somaliland is tied into Qatar being a supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood, tied into the Somali funds that were stolen in Minnesota funding terrorism in the Middle East. That is a story that came out right now. It really blows my mind how global terrorism works, but it's such an amazing thing that it was uncovered, and I'm sure there's more news to come on.
So
yeah, of course.
There's clip one. Here is clip two, which will help all of our viewers and listeners to start putting the pieces of this together. Again, this comes from our friends at DD Geopolitics.
One last question. Now you have to go. Somaliland. I had to look it up on the map. You have recognized Somaliland. You are the first nation to do so. Now that I know where it is, I studied a little history for it, but why? What provoked that and the timing?
Well, Somaliland has 6 million citizens, moderate Muslims.
6 million.
They want to join the Abraham Accords, and I think that's very good. They are Democrats. They've had elections. The rest of Somalia, which is Kochpodge, has had al-Shabaab terrorists there. Never had elections since for decades. Got a lot of terrorists coming there. So why not support democratic, moderate country, Muslim country that wants to join the Abraham Accords? I think everybody should do that.
But I guess
if we have to be first.
I guess we didn't see it coming, and you're the first nation, and I'm going, Somaliland?
Yeah, Somaliland, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll have to go visit Somaliland. I take you can help me get a interview with the president.
I'll do my best.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Bruh. Okay, and so to tie this over even more with some of this stuff and to start putting the pieces together, right? He's like, oh, they're a moderate democracy, okay? Number one, bullshit. Number two, there was only one news outlet in the Western world that I am aware of that covered anything to do with Somalia before literally like last week. And that is our friends at the Idaho Tribune, who in 2022 and 2023 wrote a couple of articles, very good articles, by the way, very much worth reading, about how Idaho Senator and ranking Foreign Committee Chairman Jim Risch has been funding the civil war in Somalia with taxpayer funds. And so it was crazy, right? I'll just read like the first paragraph. Less than a year ago, on March 18th, the Idaho Tribune was the only news outlet in America warning that Idaho Senator Jim Risch's new security partnership with secessionist rebels in Somalia was stoking conflict and could lead to a potential civil war in the troubled Afghan region. Now, just 9 months later, secessionist security forces associated with the Somali National Movement have used the training and weapons they received from their security partners in the United States by opening fire on civilians in a town called Lascanood. The article goes on with videos and clips. They were going door to door, murdering people, murdering families, women and children in Somalia so that they could establish their new state of Somaliland. And this was all done not only with United States funding overtly through the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, but now we're finding out also that they were running money laundering schemes
funded by the American taxpayer.
Bro,
I know.
This is unbelievable. Like, and no one's running against Jim Risch. Look at this guy. Yeah. He's hanging out with Zelensky. He's best friends with Bibi. He's from Idaho, of all places. And he's like single-handedly funding civil wars that are destabilizing countries in the Middle East, which send brown people to America who suck off of the taxpayer teat. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's not unbelievable. This is exactly what people do.
It is totally believable.
Yeah, I know. It's totally believable. And I'm seeing so much animus to the Somali community, which, trust me, I am sympathetic to.
You're not sympathetic to the Somalis.
No,
sympathetic to the animus.
I'm sympathetic to the animus. Yeah, but you know, Africans in general, they're deeply tribalistic, and they always revert to this kind of nepotistic, criminal, money laundering
warlords.
Yeah, it's a warlord culture. All of them are. And so by bringing them into this country, they're obviously going to behave in the same way. But we have to think, who is really responsible about this? Because these Somalis, they're just acting like Somalis.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
But the Jews are also just acting like Jews. So
Jews be Jewing.
Jews be Jewing.
Niggas be niggaing.
And
women be bitching.
I know,
bitches
right?
be bitching.
Absolutely, I'm bitching right now. And how is this going to end? I was talking to my husband about this last night. I'm like, this is what happens. This sets the stage for people just indiscriminately killing Somalis. Like people are so pissed off.
That's not where they're going. And I did a whole episode on it yesterday.
No, let me finish. I obviously I'm not condoning. I hate how everybody has to say, like, I don't condone that. But when Americans are struggling to buy groceries, to buy gas, when their healthcare is shit, and then you find out that at a minimum $9 billion is being contributed to terrorist organizations in the Somali GDP, a country that the average American has no interest in. What does that do to the average American? It makes them so pissed off, just viscerally angry. We have a clip about this. Elon Musk reposted this, and I thought it was
the one
really
from
good. It's 14.
Lauren Witzke? Because I know he retweeted Lauren Witzke today.
No way, that's great. It's 14. It's not that one. And let's just play it a 121. I think this analyst did a really good job. Although I don't know anything about it. She might be some kind of idiot shitlib.
Probably. News Nation, isn't that an Israeli outlet?
But
they're all Israeli outlets. Fucking A.
But she's spot on.
This scandal is totally appalling, but it is also unsurprising. And that's because it's a microcosm of what ails the Democratic elites.
Middle Eastern
That's
physiology.
our Why It Matters segment for the night. The latest revelations join others in which suspected Somali fraudsters stole more than $9 billion in federal funds from 14 state-run agencies
she's got a Jewish
dating
star on
back
her
to
neck.
2018.
Oh, God, I didn't even
Somali
notice.
Americans make up 89%
What an
of
oversight.
the defendants charged. The absolute
it's
scale
covered up.
of the fraud just beggars belief. Where were the spot checks? Where were the officials? It seems totally impossible that the Democratic leadership was not somehow in on this. Just think about how outrageous this is. You are wondering whether you can afford to have another child because childcare is so expensive. Meanwhile, a group of Somalis in Minnesota got $110 million for childcare centers that don't exist. You can't afford to buy a home, but 100 Somalis spent millions on luxury properties, millions of your taxpayer dollars. You're paying $30,000 a year for terrible health care, and they got millions for healthcare centers that they never opened for patients that they never serviced.
That's good.
Okay.
Now that I know that she's Jewish,
I have words about this.
Wait. Let me comment on this. Now that I know that she's Jewish, she's talking a lot about democratic elites, and this is all just to divert attention from who the real culprit is.
Yes.
I did not catch that massive Star of David on her. This is my fault. Mom, I'm sorry. This was an oversight, but now I see the whole picture.
But you see, once you see and understand with eyes to see and ears to hear, and you see a Jewish woman on television bitching at you about why you should be upset at Somalians, why you need to be upset because your tax dollars are, all of a sudden it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay. Shut the fuck up. I do care, right? Like, this is probably one of the only programs on your television being beamed over the internet to you that both the Somalians shouldn't be here. They should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, denaturalized, shipped back to their country. They don't belong here. That's true. Also, I'm not going to get pissed and I'm not going to let my cortisol levels spike because Jews want me to hate brown people.
Right.
Like, fuck you as well. And so
I should have known. Pull her back up.
Yes.
Outside of the Star of David, I was thinking she had Middle Eastern physiognomy, but look, eyes above ears, something to fear.
Yes. Yes.
She got me.
Absolutely. And so this is why it's like I'm feeling even more vindicated now in my little Dave After Dark that I did yesterday, because it's like what is coming out of all of this? What's happening is that people are rightfully pissed that they're being defrauded, that their tax dollars are being taken from them. But the solution to this is not to go on Twitter.com or Facebook and announce to the world that you're about to commit felony tax evasion in a world controlled by Palantir, where we just modernized the Treasury Department. We integrated the IRS with Palantir spyware. And so you're going to like put a target on your back, commit a felony, and just assume that like nobody's going to fuck your life up and kick down your door. Like, that's not the way. Like, 2026, here's a good resolution for you, okay? Hire a tax planner.
Yeah.
Get a tax lawyer. Think about ways in which you can legally maximize the amount of tax write-offs, right? Because that's legal. That's a legal way to deprive Uncle Sam of your hard-earned money.
But okay, this is what Jews do. They always do this, two truths and a lie thing. She's right in that the average American should simply be outraged. Can you imagine what $9 million, that's more than the Lehman Brothers of 2008. Like, can you imagine what this country could have done with appropriately placed funds of $9 billion? It's been 30 minutes. Cameron hasn't said a thing. Cameron, can you get in here?
Well, I don't agree with what you guys are saying. All right. So,
hit us.
A couple things. Certainly, from a factual vantage point, what you're saying is irrefutable. But look, this has been going on for a long time. I'm not surprised. This isn't news. Why does anybody give a shit? Oh, I know why they give a shit. Because money's scarce. Because resources are drying up. But look, I remember hearing stories about, Dearborn, Michigan, over 15 years ago. What was happening in Dearborn, Michigan? Well, you had the largest mosque in the United States. You had Islamic prayer calls in the public square. You had halal meat that was showing up in grocery stores. And the population that grew up there was gentrified, was expelled from their own neighborhoods. Somalis have been in Minnesota a long time, and they've been disproportionately responsible for all manner of criminality and thugocracy. This isn't new. What about the illegal immigrants all over the country? What about the Venezuelan gangs in Colorado? What about CARE, right? The Council of Islamic American Relations. I mean, I could go on and on. Over, I want to say 10, 15 years ago, Tom Coburn, who was actually a decent guy, senator from Oklahoma, he did a series of in-depth speeches in Congress about the federal budget. And specifically, he went through the entitlement programs. And he discovered that there were over, this was 15 years ago, there were over 5 welfare departments and 70 different welfare programs of various iterations, massive bureaucracies, right? There's been fraud in Medicare and Medicaid for decades. This isn't new at all. The culprit, those who are culpable, is us. It's us. It's our fault. We didn't give a shit. We were negligent, and we were too worried about being called a racist or whatever while we took a second mortgage out to rent out a new home. This is our fault. We didn't pay any attention. And now all of a sudden resources are scarce. People are getting killed in the streets. Our tax dollars have been stolen for decades, but now all of a sudden it's beginning to hit critical mass because people, Americans, are living paycheck to paycheck. The social contract is breaking down. And so what you're going to see happen is spray fire hate in all kinds of different directions. Some of that is inevitable. Our job is to rationalize what's happening, is to contextualize it in a framework that we can organize around so that we can start to take corrective action. But if we don't look at ourselves in the mirror and say, this is our fault, this is our negligence, this is our tolerance, then we're not going to get anywhere. And that starts with us. This has been going on for a long, long, long damn time. We have enabled it. And now it must stop. And it's going to stop like a hurricane. And I suspect it's going to begin to really hurt next year when we have a massive financial crisis, which, as I've said from the inception of this podcast, is ongoing. That's what you're seeing. And you heard in that little clip, what did that lady say? She said, well, my family's struggling to put food on the table, and the taxpayer is financing billions of dollars to go to these people who are foreigners and aren't even legitimate citizens of our country. All of a sudden we give a shit. Well, welcome to the party. This is our fault. So now we need to get engaged. We need to clean up the mess that we made.
And you know what? There's a lot of people that are getting engaged. First of all, I got to give some shout outs before we move on. Big shout out to Idaho Senator Brian Lenny, who sent a demand letter along with Representative Josh Tanner, who took the trip to Israel, by the way. But
Ruh-roh.
Brian Lenny's great. And, you know, Josh does good things, too. So I won't pigeonhole him there. But
what does it matter? So they're going to pause 14 million child care grants. Who gives a shit? We're never going to get the remittances back that were set or the fraud that Cameron's been referring to that's been going on for God knows how long.
True. And there's also, where is the, but I guess what he was saying about taking corrective action, people getting involved. Our friends, excuse me, I'm still sick, down to the Old State Saloon, spent the day yesterday driving around Boise, uncovering, I think, 3 or 4 different daycares down there.
Everybody should be doing this in their cities.
Absolutely.
Now, what Cameron was talking about, though, that's such a mischaracterization of what he said. Cameron was not talking about taking corrective action. He was talking about philosophically us looking inward and correcting what makes us do this kind of stuff or allow this kind of stuff to take place when there's a period of financial complacency. It's because we have no moral core.
Yeah, being racist would fix this.
It would. PNW Grill has been doing good work. He's been going around Seattle, I believe, checking out these daycare centers. Of course, everybody's been finding the same thing anywhere where there are Somalis. I bet he's in Renton or
it's not just Somalis, though. The Jews do this too.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
In Philadelphia, it's not Somalians, it's inner city blacks.
Yeah.
And that is Democrats and all of that. But yeah, no, Cameron's right.
Look, we have been colonized. We have been colonized. Look, you know, I have said repeatedly that I've lived all over the world, quite literally all over the world. Certainly there's a lot of the world I have not seen, but Latin America, South America, the Middle East, Europe, Eastern Europe, Eurasia, Asia, East Asia, South Asia. I've been to these places. And when you go to certain parts of Los Angeles, you're in Koreatown. Quite literally, you're in Little Korea or you're in Chinatown. This has been America's pluralistic experience for a long, long time. And people that raised objections to it, people that said assimilation was a fraud, it was. It never happened. There never was any assimilation. There were white Europeans who shared common culture and kinship with the people who were already here. And it was relatively easy for them to assimilate into our culture. And even in that case, you have to remember, folks, that if you go back to the 19th century, even though we had common kinship and culture from Irish and Italians, the volume of people that came, which was infinitely smaller than it is today, that still caused problems.
Oh, yeah.
You still had backlash in the United States. I recall a speech that was given by Theodore Roosevelt to the Knights of Columbus, in which he said, nothing is more dangerous to the future of the United States than that we become a tangled squabble of nationalities. Now, at the time, he was referring to French Americans or German Americans. Well, that was squashed in no small measure because we didn't have a welfare state. And that meant that about a third, specifically a third of the Southern Europeans that came into the United States, they went back. You know why they went back? Because they couldn't make it in the United States. They could not make it here. So they went back. Another 10 to 15% were not permitted into the country because we had Ellis Island, because we actually had a legitimate government that represented our interests. And then in 1921, we closed the borders, period. Nobody came in from about 1921 until 1965, with very few exceptions. And that was done advisedly. And it actually started, by the way, a lot of people don't know this, it actually started at the local level. It started in states like Connecticut. That's where the public educational system to some degree comes from. It was a mechanism by which you would assimilate the white populations that were coming here from Ireland or Italy or other parts of Europe. And that was spurred locally by Americans that gave a shit, that had a sense of national identity. Well, needless to say, post-1960s, that ethos, that public spiritedness, that sense of national consciousness died. It atrophied. And so we were negligent. And a large measure of this, folks, is because we were getting rich. Maybe we weren't getting rich in reality, but we were borrowing our way to a higher standard of living.
Absolutely.
And so we couldn't really be bothered. And people like yourselves who raised objections to all this 10 years ago, and there were a number of people who did, you were defamed. You were denigrated. You were marginalized. You were censored. Not necessarily by the elites or by the special interest groups. Yeah, that happened. But it was by your own citizenry. It was by your own neighbors that said, well, yeah, we know that the Somalis are running rampant down in Minneapolis. We know they're killing people. We know they're trafficking human beings. But you know what? It's really uncouth to talk about race. So we can't be bothered. This is your fault. Clean it the fuck up and stop making excuses. This is not a conspiracy anymore, folks. Get organized and do something about this shit. And the good news is that many of you are beginning to do that. And when you do that, you realize something. You actually have power. You have agency. That's why this platform called the Backlash exists.
I always think that
That's
I have.
a clip. That's
I know,
a
totally.
clip.
I always think that I have some cutting edge political take, and then Cameron in 2 seconds makes me realize that it was entirely superficial, and the majority of it was completely incorrect.
True. No, but it's true. I mean, you know, we need to do something, and voting more ain't going to do it. We have to build power networks and fraternal networks, build businesses, the whole thing. I mean, like, we're sitting around waiting for Superman to come save us. That
No
has
one
not
is going to
fucking
save
worked.
us.
It's not going to work anyway.
Look, I know you guys like the Wednesday show, you know, and we talk about a lot of things, but you need to watch Dave After Dark. And when we have our meetings off air, I strongly encourage Dave to do this. You know why? Because he gets into the weeds, because he's a watchdog of the local community. Dave is really the activist of the three of us. That is what all of you should aspire to be. That is what you must do. And look at how much traction and impact Dave Riley makes by creating a podcast in his house. All right. So please excuse me if I'm not impressed with a few journalists running around blowing the lid off this shit. The rest of you people need to get engaged. And if you get engaged, you will shake things up. Ultimately, politics is a game of who shows up.
Absolutely.
If you show up like Dave Riley, we're going to win.
It's not just like showing up is like 50% of the battle. Then the other half of the battle is staying engaged.
Right.
Because it's fucking boring when you go to the city council meeting and they start talking about the budget and you like start to fall asleep and drool on yourself.
And it's exhausting and you're defamed constantly.
Right. But the thing is, like, guess who does show up? Zionists, Democrats, these fucking crazy liberal people, they show up, they're engaged.
Right.
You know, and
I don't want to dunk on citizen journalists, because if every single person did what Nick Shirley has been doing, then we would be in a much better position. And if you're able to do stuff like that, then you definitely should. All it takes is your iPhone, which is in your pocket anyway.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I have no tolerance for anybody at this late stage that still thinks that Trump is going to save us.
They don't care. They don't care.
It's just unbelievable. I'm even seeing, what is his name? Not Bill Whittle, Bill Mitchell. He's even turning on Trump.
Really?
Yeah. And
Boomer Bill?
Yeah, Boomer Bill's turning on Trump. So what is Trump doing right now? What are his interests in America? What is his focus in America? Let's pull up 17. This is what he did. Was this yesterday? Day before yesterday?
Yes. Oy vey. Oy gewalt.
A pardon? I think he will. How do you not? He's a wartime prime minister who's a hero. How do you not give a pardon? You know, I think it's a very hard thing not to do it. I spoke to the president, and it's on. I mean, he tells me it's on its way.
The pardon is on its way for Bibi. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why are we deeply involved in all these foreign conflicts? What does Trump get out of it? Can you pull up 18? This was so astonishing that I had to watch it. I had to watch it several times. I had to keep going back in the clip to be like, that cannot be what he just said. But here we are. And this is what Trump is getting out of it.
What are we doing in it? How do we benefit? What do we get out of it? Now, let's be frank. I read just recently that President Trump's personal wealth has tripled since he took office. I suppose that has something to do with his family, with Witkoff and others and their children all running around in Qatar and then the Emirates collecting cash. But the American people don't benefit. There's nothing in it for us. That's the problem.
You know, the presidency, even all of these people were supposed to be basically laymen. They were supposed to be citizens that got in, did their civic duty, and then went back to normal life, to civilian life. And we have a president who was a multi-billionaire who has tripled his net worth during this term.
Oh, it's so bad. And just to point this out, because I took a lot of shit from that. You know, everybody knows I'm into Bitcoin and crypto and all this shit. But I was tweeting about this. This is from, and you can see that like there's zero engagement on these tweets. I tweeted this February 12th, 2025, just a couple of days after Trump's inauguration. It has 16 likes because you're just a naysayer. You're just ganging up on Trump. Just let him cook, bro. Like, it's going to be fine. It's a meme coin. It's not a scam, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's committing securities fraud, okay? When I tweeted this, the Donald Trump meme coin had plummeted 50% from $74 at the height to $15. Okay, cool, Dave. Well, what about this tweet, which I put out a month ago, where it had plummeted another 50% from $15 to $7? And now here we are. I posted this morning. From $7 to $4.81. This shit is down 83% from inauguration day.
Rugged by our own president.
Donald Trump rugged you. He rugged everyone. And by the way, the Trump meme token thing that came out, that is responsible for 50% of Donald Trump's net worth. He got from doing securities fraud literally the day he was sworn in to office. And remember, Vince and I did a live stream. I don't know how many of you watched that, but when we were doing the live stream, it's like Trump didn't even put his hand on the Bible when he took his oath. He literally just stood there. Melania's holding the Bible like, honey, and he doesn't even swear his oath on the Bible. And he's scamming people. What the dude? We are in the looting stage. This is the looting phase of the operation.
Absolutely.
These people, David Sachs and Jeff, what's his face from the All In podcast, and Peter Thiel, and all of these people, they're raiding the treasury. They're robbing us blind, and they're getting us upset about some Somalians that stole $9 billion. What about the trillions of dollars that are being stolen from us, not just by dumb shit securities fraud meme coins like the Trump token, but through inflation? Harrison Smith did an excellent piece on InfoWars today. Essentially, if you make like $70,000 a year, you are essentially paying 60% of that in taxes. Like you buy beer, every ingredient in the beer is taxed on the way to it becoming beer, and then you buy it, and then it's taxed again. Yep. So when you total it all up, 60% of your income goes straight to these fucking people.
If you bring up the top 5 wealthiest counties in the United States, where are they located? Most of them
Connecticut
are in the direct vicinity of Washington, D.C. Loudoun County, Fairfax County, right? There's another one in Maryland. These are the wealthiest counties in the United States. Gee, I wonder why that is. Why is it that everybody in Loudoun County, Virginia, or Fairfax, not everybody, but a lot of people are driving Teslas, or they're riding around in Ferraris or Lamborghinis? Yeah, I know you don't believe me. Look it up. They are there. I think per capita, in the DC metropolitan area, they make $100,000 a year or more per capita. It's one of the highest in the nation, if not the highest. Why is that? Because it's Washington, D.C., where all the money is. Where did Amazon set up their secondary headquarters? They set it up in Crystal City, Virginia, right across from Washington, D.C., after pretending that there was some kind of a legitimate bidding war to get their business, as if they were going to go anywhere else other than Washington, D.C. Look, what Dave says, 100% right. This is a kleptocracy. And it's a kleptocracy, again, that we've tolerated for a long, long, long time. I mean, I saw a tweet recently that said that Nancy Pelosi is the greatest investor of all time.
She
greater
outperforms
investor
Warren
than
Buffett.
the Oracle of Omaha, because her net worth skyrocketed to the high heavens ever since she went to Congress. Of course, because all the money is in Washington, D.C. And meanwhile, outside of D.C., what do you see, folks? You see dilapidated buildings. You see inner cities that are completely ruined. You see growing, sprawling tent cities in virtually every major city across this country. We are in a revolutionary environment because the kleptocracy controls this country, and it has hollowed it out for parts.
Look at this. Her portfolio is up 16,930%, beating the market by 581%. Bro, can we get like an ad with autopilot? Have you heard about autopilot? It's like this app you can plug in, and it'll just mirror the stock trades of all the DC insiders. You can like choose, it's like pick your fighter. You can choose Dan Crenshaw, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, all these people. And it's incredible because like they all unironically beat the market every time.
Nancy Pelosi really saw that short squeeze on GameStop. I mean, she read that like a pro.
Listen, you want to talk about Nancy Pelosi and squeezing things.
Come on.
Oh, come on. You don't want to.
That was low-hanging fruit.
I'm here to pick it up. Oh, my God. These people belong in jail. They belong in jail. Like, I know that we're going to be doing a big interview with James Fishback next Wednesday. We're going to grill him. We're going to talk about his platform. He's running for governor. Here, do you need a knife? Do you want to open that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. He's running for governor down in Florida. And his rhetoric is very on point, talking about putting America first, talking about divesting from Israel, talking about the plight of white people and all that. But that's almost not good enough for me anymore. I don't want to just divest from Israel. I want to send aid packages via ballistic missile. I want to see people running on platforms of we are going to put politicians in jail.
Oh, yeah.
We need to have public hangings back. We need to have people put in stocks and publicly severely punished. We need leaders that are afraid of the citizens.
Right. And instead, we're getting Jonathan Pollard reporting from Israel.
Do we have the clip?
I didn't put it in here if you can find it.
I'll get the clip.
But it's just astonishing. Think about what would have been done to somebody this treasonous back in the day. I mean, do we even have that American spirit where we tar and feather people anymore? Is that in anybody? Because watching this clip, I honestly felt sickened.
Yep.
Was this it? Here it is.
This is the clip. Here we go. Boing.
Joining us now from the Knesset is Jonathan Pollard. Shalom.
Shalom, Yoni.
So you participated in a session in the Knesset which called for Israel to resettle the Gaza Strip with Jews. And Jonathan, some feel that today the consensus in Israel is not with you on this issue.
No, I actually feel that the consensus would support a return to Gaza as completely as we can. I think a lot of the polls have been mistaken, and they've been poorly worded. I've seen better polls, and they all indicate that a complete return to Gaza that's been cleared of its current Islamo-fascist population would probably be an acceptable solution as far as most Israelis are concerned. Our repossession of our biblical land in Gaza will basically set the stage for our future. Why? Because it will show our enemies that if you fight us, we will not only defeat you decisively, but we will take back our land as well, permanently, to make sure that they're safe and secure going forward. And the only way that's going to take place is if we have a Jewish Gaza, 100% Jewish Gaza. As far as President Trump is concerned, look, the man likes winners. There's no question about it. It's time we start acting like one. Rather than asking permission to be one, we should simply act like one. And this is why I firmly believe that just as America has a policy of America first, we should have a policy of Israel Rishonah, Israel first.
That's so outrageous. I'm seeing a lot of people say that this entire Somali debacle is so that Israel can send the Gazans to Somalia. And I watched this clip. I'm like, they have no intention of displacing Gazans. They're just want to murder all of them.
Yes.
You think that they're just going to take them and pay the massive expense? These penny pinching Jews are going to take this massive expense of sending all these Gazans to Somalia? Like, no way.
And that's coming from this. There was a tweet going around, and it's true. There's been an 80-year-old plan put out by the Israelis about being able to kick these people out to Somalia. I think they have initially wanted Somalia to be the Jewish state. Of course, that didn't happen. They got Palestine. Yeah. And remember, who pardoned Jonathan Pollard?
Trump.
Right? Who flew Jonathan Pollard back to Israel?
Trump.
No, Adelson. Adelson gave his plane to fly Pollard back to Israel. Adelson, who owns Donald Trump, who said that they're going to have a third term for Donald Trump. We're going to give you another $250 million.
Adelson.
This absolute freak that needs a bath. He needs a shower. They had showers for a reason. He needs Idaho tallow soap to scrub himself clean.
Oh, you cannot
looks so gross and oily. But he's been unironically lobbying for the use of nuclear weapons in Israel. They want to bomb with nuclear bombs Iran, Lebanon, Syria, the Palestinians, Holy shit.
Cameron, do you want to say anything before we move on to Ukraine, Putin?
Boy,
I'll just briefly say that, a lot of things have happened this year, all over the world. In Latin America, you've got this armada of sorts that's floating off the coast, threatening some kind of military action against Maduro. In the Middle East over the summer, and we talked about it extensively here. I encourage you to go back and listen to what we had to say, because there was a lot of buildup to the 10 or 12-day war, is what it's been called, between Iran and Israel. Then there was skirmishing that went on between the Houthis and the U.S. military. You probably remember that. Then there was the regime change in Syria. That was sort of a blitzkrieg in a kind of Faustian bargain between the Turks and the Israelis. And then obviously you've had fits and starts in Ukraine, with the Russians sort of grinding forward somewhat relentlessly. And the question was always, well, is this sort of the peak? Is this it? Or is this just the beginning? Is this just the advertisement for the movie to come? And certainly I am in the latter camp. This is just the pretext. And Dave's exactly right. The Israelis believe in greater Israel. That's what this war is about. They view this conflict as an eschatological realization of their religious doctrine. And that means that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, and the United States are almost certainly going to be plunged into this war, which is exactly what we said all along. And what is this war? Well, it's a war between Israel and Iran. It's a war between Israel and the Gazans, the Arabs that are left there. How many, I don't know. It's a war between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. It's a war between Israel and the American people, frankly. Yes. Anybody that disagrees or disavows their propaganda. This is where we're headed. And that's what 2026 is going to realize. It is effectively going to escalate everything, all the cracks, all of the fault lines that have been ignited this year. They're going to spread into a broader conflagration. That's where we're headed next year.
Yeah. Blackpilling, but true.
I know.
It's,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And one of these fault lines, of course, is what's been going on in Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's pull up 19. Putin appears in military uniform the day before Zelensky-Trump meeting, says Russia is not interested in negotiations. Putin wearing military fatigues on camera, which is not his usual suit. That's signal number one. Signal number two, Russia has little incentive to seek Ukrainian troop withdrawal in Donetsk. We are not interested in any pullback from areas held by Kiev's forces. Translation, we're taking what we want. Negotiations are theater. The timing's surgical. Zelensky meets Trump at Mar-a-Lago. This is 2 days ago, right? Putin delivers this message yesterday. This was also a few days ago in military address, saying Moscow's done negotiating. That's pressure application 101. You can scroll down, but
there's a video here we can play.
You'll have to read it.
Because there's no overdub.
Right.
All right. Well, I will be the overdub. How about that? But today, judging by your reports, judging by the pace we are seeing on the line of contact, our interest in the withdrawal of Ukrainian military formations from the territories they currently occupy has been reduced to virtually zero.
And what does this mean? Let's pull up 20 for some good analysis on this and play it to 758, please.
758. Let's go.
Thank you.
President Putin appeared in military garb addressing his senior officials. Is this some kind of a message that he sends when he periodically appears in military uniform?
Yes, unquestionably. Let me say a couple of things, first of all. This war, and there are two kinds of wars, for instance, that our friend Clausewitz mentions. He talks about wars of decision and wars of observation, or what we would call wars of choice. For Russia, this is a war of decision. The matter is existential. Russia's life as a nation, as an independent sovereign state, is at risk. And thus far, we've had this thing called the special military operation. They still use those terms. But in fact, this war has changed dramatically. What started out as a limited special military operation designed to signal Russia's interests, its legitimate security concerns, has now become this war of decision, a war for the existence of Russia and its population. Ukraine is the instrument. And when I say instrument, I mean instrument. It is simply the puppet regime and the human capital that is being squandered on the battlefield on behalf of the globalist governments in Europe and Washington that want to destroy Russia. He puts on the uniform at this point and shows up at a general staff meeting with the senior military leadership as a demonstration that this is now a war for the existence of Russia. And the patience that once existed, I think, is running out. And that is patience with us and patience with Europe. You know, I think that President Putin always tries to be polite. And he listens carefully to whatever President Trump says. And I think he believes President Trump is quite sincere, as he has said. But he has seen repeatedly that President Trump is unable to deliver on much of anything, that the United States Congress has a mind of its own, that the same people that are pressing for war in the Middle East and pressing against Venezuela are equally interested in destroying Russia. And those people, whether they're the major billionaire donors or members of the Senate, it doesn't make any difference. They seem to wield more influence and power than President Trump. And that's, I think, the message that President Putin is saying. Thank you very much. We appreciate your kind words. We are now at war for our existence, and we are prepared to take this war all the way to Europe if necessary.
And that's such an important point. We actually had a bit of a debate in our pre-production meeting today because I still find it impossible that Trump doesn't know what's going on, but apparently he doesn't with this drone attack that that was intercepted on Putin, one of Putin's homes. Trump, clip 21, says that he knew nothing about it.
Yesterday there was an explosion overnight, and the Russians say that Ukraine tried to hit the residence of President Putin. Do you have any information?
No, I don't know about it, actually, and I don't. I just heard about it, actually, but I don't know about it. So that would be too bad. That would not be good.
What was that?
Be too bad.
Is that it?
Wouldn't
That's
be
the
good.
clip?
Yeah, and then let's pull up 21. Guess where he heard about it?
From Putin himself?
You know who told me about it? President Putin told me about it. Early in the morning, he said he was attacked. That's no good. That's no good. Don't forget, you know, the Tomahawks. I stopped the Tomahawks. I didn't want that. Because we're talking about, you know, it's a delicate period of time. This is not the right time. It's one thing to be offensive, because they were offensive. It's another thing to attack his house. It's not the right time to do any of that, and can't do it. And I learned about it from President Putin today. I was very angry about it.
There is also some evidence, and Cameron's going to speak to this, that Zelensky himself may not have known. Can you pull up 24? Maybe we should do this one.
I was also going to pull up, there was a thing, and it broke while I was on the DD Geopolitics stream. Let me see if I can find it fairly quickly here. But the New York Post, which we discussed moments ago as being Israeli Hezbollah propaganda, the New York Post just a couple of hours ago put out an article, and I'm trying to find it, about how the attack on Putin's home was fake news. Can you believe it?
What are they positing?
They're saying that it was just fake, that it's fake Russian propaganda, and that it's a signal that the Russians don't want peace.
Good Lord.
Yeah. But I'm having a hard time finding it. If we have another clip, I'll...
Yeah, can you pull up 24? This one's going to be hard to navigate because it's a Twitter clip.
Oh, this is the Twitter.
Yeah, that's the Twitter one.
Okay, so let's see.
The first one's at 1820. There's a discussion about Ukraine having a history of carrying out these attacks.
And they do.
And they do indeed.
1820.
Perfect. Thank you. There we go. That's good.
Close enough.
Larry Johnson.
But again, this is let's remember that we do have a clear track record of Ukraine carrying out these terrorist attacks. The Crocus Theater attack, was that now 2 years ago, where they paid they brought in a team. They've assassinated 2 generals in the last year. One most recently, the car bomb last week. So it's not like Ukraine has been sitting back and Russia's vowed retaliation.
The drone attack on the Kremlin, Larry, as well. I think it was last year.
That was 3 years ago.
Oh wow! The attack on the dome of the Kremlin, the drone attack, that was the most symbolic. Now,
Can you go to 2036 now?
Yes, 2036. See, if we had like Russian backing,
I know we wouldn't
we
have
could
to
just like hire a
There we go.
producer.
Perfect.
To 2036. Perfect. Here we go.
Budanov acted without Zelensky's approval. I find it unlikely because of the timing of it more than anything, targeting Putin symbolically or not during such important negotiations while Zelensky is in Florida either signals brazen stupidity, I'd say, or some sort of rift between Zelensky and Budanov, which would be very concerning for Ukraine. Do you think it's even plausible that Budanov would have acted without Zelensky's approval?
Yes, I think it is very, very, they're not the warmest of buddies. And let's remember, Budanov is closely aligned with the CIA. I mean, he's basically a creature of the CIA. When, the CIA took over the rebuilding of Ukrainians' intelligence service starting in 2014 after the Maidan. So yeah, this is what causes me concern is the possibility that there's still within the CIA pursuing an agenda independent of Donald Trump.
That's what concerns you the most.
Yeah.
So Cameron, I'm inclined to believe that.
Do we want the third clip?
No, let's nix that.
Okay.
He just goes on to say that Zelensky is an actor. And
Well, this plugs in with what Larry just said. I found the New York Post tweet. Putin claimed Ukraine targeted his home. The CIA says it never happened. And guess who retweeted this?
Who?
Donald Trump.
Oh, man.
Bro. So, unbelievable.
Cameron, I know that you think that you've belabored the point in terms of Donald Trump not knowing what's going on, but I think it's very important. So feel free to hammer it in.
Yeah. So the clip that you did not play a moment ago, and it's fine. I can
play
repeat
it.
what Larry. No, it's okay. It's what Larry Johnson said that I do think is particularly important, because he said that Zelensky is basically the highest paid actor in the world. Now, why did he say that? And he used that term advisedly, actor, right? An actor is somebody who's playing a part, right? Somebody who wears a uniform, who goes on TV, who postures, who presents a particular facade to convey the interests or reflect the influence of somebody else. This is what Larry Johnson, who obviously has an intelligence background of himself, that was his point. Now, what that suggests is that Ukraine is not a functional state because there are actors within it, and you heard him mention the head of intelligence just a moment ago, this guy Budanov, as essentially being in close contact with Western intelligence agencies, almost certainly MI6 and probably the CIA as well in some capacity. Now, what exactly that relationship looks like, I'm sure I don't know, but I do view Larry Johnson as a credible source, and he's not the only person who's made these claims. And he also mentioned that there is a track record, there's a pattern of behavior of terrorist-like attacks and assassinations. In fact, there was a Russian general that was just blown up in his car in Moscow not less than a couple of weeks ago. So there's obvious intelligence cooperation that's going on. And let's just consider a couple things. One is this guy Ratcliffe, who's the head of the CIA. And Ratcliffe, at least according to Max Blumenthal, has absolutely no credibility whatsoever, has no qualifications to be the director of the CIA. So why is he there? Well, he's there because he's another one of AIPAC's boys. He's another Zionist shill. And so effectively, he's representing the intelligence of a foreign power. That's Ratcliffe. What about the head of MI6? Well, the head of MI6 is a woman actually named Blaise Metrowell, and she actually is Ukrainian. So if you actually look up her background, you'll see that she is very invested in this conflict unfolding in the Donbass. Now, I say all of that to say this. There was what I think is one of the most important essays, articles that I've read about U.S. government. And Dave, if you can bring it up, that'll probably help everybody follow along with what I'm saying. But the article is called "How the Deep State Took Down Nixon," and I want to read some excerpts from it. So I apologize. This is going to be a little bit in the weeds here, but I think it's very important.
From Compact Magazine?
Say again?
From Compact Magazine?
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
Anyway, from the article, it says, and I quote, "Sometime in the mid to late 1960s, Nixon had become a heretical anti-communist. While Nixon wanted the U.S. to remain vigilant against the spread of communism, in a series of 1967 articles, he recognized the limits of American power and wanted to avoid conflicts that were not in the national interest." Just as a pause, who does that sound like? It sounds like Donald Trump. Rejecting Manichaean assumptions in foreign policy as a recipe for escalation in war, Nixon called for stronger economic and political ties with the Soviet Union and China and a legitimate acknowledgement of their interests as the preconditions for hard-nosed but effective diplomacy. Moreover, he opposed granting the intelligence and military bureaucracies more autonomy. Now, under Eisenhower, and it continues, Nixon had witnessed how the Dulles brothers, one the Secretary of State, the other as the CIA director. If you don't know who the Dulles brothers are, you should look them up. They played a decisive role in the formation of the CIA and its current posture. Just as a parenthetical note, back to the article, the CIA played an oversized role in the National Security Council at the expense of Eisenhower's own power. The issue, Nixon believed, went deeper than the force of the Dulles personalities. A shrewd observer of the nature of bureaucracies, Nixon believed that department heads, even the political appointees meant to serve the president, tended to get captured by their agencies, becoming advocates for their interests rather than advocates for the policies set by the president. The solution, Nixon thought, was to marginalize the influence of the most dangerous agencies, and I'm sure you can imagine who they were. He organized the National Security Council around his national security advisor, Henry Kissinger, who was personally accountable to the president, and essentially he tried to limit the influence of the CIA. Now, what that effectively resulted in, and this is not just the claim of this article, it has also been made public by Tucker Carlson, is that the CIA responded to Nixon, who I think wanted to either shut down the agency or reorganize it, by manufacturing the Watergate scandal and forcing his resignation from office. Ladies and gentlemen, that was 50 years ago. And Dwight Eisenhower, I think, was probably the most powerful president of the 20th century. I think a very good president. But even Eisenhower, even in the 1950s, had issues dealing with the Central Intelligence Agency and probably the FBI, among others. I say all of that as background to say this. Look, these agencies have run amok for a long, long time. They have not been supervised. They have not been checked. There has not been any pushback or congressional oversight beyond the ceremonial hearings of the Church Committee in the 1970s, which really didn't produce anything of note. Basically, what's happening is that there is an agenda by the foreign policy establishment led by the neocons, the Zionists, and others in the State Department, certainly in the National Security Council, and the intelligence agencies who are really driving the foreign policy of the United States. That means that the president is kind of an afterthought. And that is why, to a large extent, folks, It's not Donald Trump who's driving these things that diametrically oppose his mandate. Remember what Trump said in 2024 coming in to his second term in office. He said, I want to end the conflict in Ukraine. It's not my war. And I take Trump at his word. Perhaps I'm naive to do so, but I take the president at his word. He has not been able to do so because he doesn't really control the government. And if you want to learn more about that, I made a video about this on YouTube. It's called Why the Next President Will Fail. And I went into some detail about what I call the triad, which is basically the National Security Council in the White House. That's tier one or pillar one. Pillar two is the foreign policy establishment, specifically the neoconservatives or the Zionists are basically the same, slash the DOD or the Department of Defense and the military industrial complex. And then thirdly, it's the intelligence agencies. And the president of the United States for the last 50 years, this is not peculiar to Donald Trump, has not been in control of these rogue actors who are intent on escalating conflicts everywhere. This is why we have forever wars, ladies and gentlemen, and it cannot be fixed unless you have a total overhaul of the national security apparatus in this country. That means DOD, the intelligence agencies, everything. You cannot elect a president and equip him with the power to do this. This is where we are. So no, I don't think the president knew about this. I think Donald Trump has done his college level best to bring this conflict to an end, to normalize relations. I don't put this on him as much as I do not care for the president, as much as I don't think he's competent. This is bigger than him. And I think the president is afraid of the CIA every bit as much as I think virtually every president since Richard Nixon has been, and need not mention JFK, which is another example, almost certainly, of the rogue agencies that are really running this country. This is another monster altogether. And I fear the worst, because if we don't get control of these people in the near term, we're going to end up in a much bigger war, which is what these people want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was an article I mentioned in my Dave After Dark thing yesterday. I've got it up again here. This is from a small newspaper publisher from Hayden Lake, Idaho. It was initially published in Bernie, California, moved up here. Anyway, in June 5th, 1975, this was the headline. President Kissinger controls United States. U.S. is now a satellite of Zionist Jew Israel. Nixon's trust of Jews led to slitting of American administration's throats and betrayal of United States government to a foreign enemy working with American traitors, Red Russia, the UN, and the Jews of Israel. So, hello, welcome to the party. Happy we're all awake and looking at the same reality, because this has been going on for now 50 fucking years.
But how can these people be held accountable when they're so numerous and they're so deeply ingrained in the American economy, when they have all these positions of power? I mean, how many people will we have to hold accountable? How could we even do this?
Thousands.
Right.
There's thousands of these people. And that's not even to mention like the SANM, which we've talked about a couple of times on the show, which are basically covert agents of Israel that they don't appear to be attached to the Mossad or the CIA or any intelligence agency. They are private citizens, but they're taking their marching orders from groups like B'nai B'rith or the Anti-Defamation League or any one of these Zionist front intelligence organizations. There's hundreds of thousands of these people.
It's all true, but the answer to your question, Rebecca, I think is two or threefold. The first is that there is no mechanism democratically to correct this problem. And we know that, right? Because empirically speaking, we have tried generation after generation to elect presidents to resolve these wars, to terminate the warfare state. And by the way, I think a lot of American presidents have tried to contend with this. I would argue that Barack Obama did not want forever wars, and yet they happened anyway. Very similar to Donald Trump. And you can go back farther than that. The point is that there is no democratic self-correction. So that's the first thing. The second is that what these people have done is they have created a very self-destructive environment, not just for the world, but for themselves. And so we are on, whether we like it or not, a train that's derailing. And it's going to derail, and we're going to have to deal with the consequences of that because it's too far gone. Now, I'm not suggesting that that means it ends in a mushroom cloud. I don't believe that it does. But it almost certainly means an escalation in the Middle East, in Venezuela, and potentially some broader escalation in this Ukraine conflict. I don't think it's going to go nuclear. I think that ultimately the American people will wake up, and that's really the answer to your question, is that the self-correction of democracy, that's over. The train is going to derail. And we, as the organic national consciousness of the population, we're going to have to reorganize ourselves to fix this problem. That's what we're going to do.
What are the timelines on this? What are your predictions for
New
2026?
Year's predictions.
Let's get into some of that. Cameron, I know you've talked a lot about the looming economic collapse. Do you think that this is a 2026 certainty?
Well, nothing is certain, right? And it's, as I've said repeatedly in a lot of recent interviews that I've done, and I've said it on this podcast, predicting the future is a hazardous affair. It is. Nobody knows the future, and I certainly do not know it any better than any of the rest of you. That being said, as we've discussed, you have fault lines everywhere. You have cracks in this glass house everywhere. And I think you can make a very compelling case that those cracks are beginning to spread, whether it's this massive grift machine that's subsidizing illegal immigrants or non-Americans across the country. And the population, despite my tirade against them, is beginning to wake up. They're very pissed off about this. All right. So that's just beginning. That's one. Second is that Americans are really starting to feel the financial hardship. It's not just that they're living paycheck to paycheck. It's also that the economy's been hollowed out. We've talked about this at length, but the fact of the matter is that the 40 and under crowd, the unemployment numbers, the underemployment numbers for that particular group are abysmal. They're abysmal. They don't have a path to social upward mobility. That means that they are primed for revolutionary activity. That means that they are primed for some kind of new political organization. And I think an expression of that that's tangible and real is the Groyper movement. There's others too. I think the Bitcoin community is a representation of that. I think the manosphere is a representation of that. I think alternative media is a representation of that. So all of these things are sort of reinforcing one another in their opposition to a government that's gone completely out of control. And it's going to exacerbate this financial mess that we've got. It's going to create a feedback loop. And then, of course, we've got the wars overseas, which as I said, I think are going to pop off. I think the Russians have had enough. I think this latest assassination attempt on Putin is quite real. And I think you're going to see a massive response that's going to get pretty ugly. And we'll have to see how the foreign policy establishment and the boys in the agency react to all of this. I don't know. But I think things are going to get worse before they're going to get better. The good news is that it's going to accelerate quickly. And as it accelerates quickly, that means that people are going to get engaged faster. And the faster the masses get engaged, the faster this will stop. So yeah, I think a lot of bad shit is coming in 2026. I think 2025 is the pretext. And I think it's going to happen on multiple fronts that will probably catalyze one another. And look, the only way out is through. We've got to go through the pain train. It's unavoidable at this point. But the faster we deal with it and accept it, the faster we can take corrective action.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was this clip that I just saw pop up on my feed a couple days ago. I think it's worth watching. It's a Nick clip. It's from 2022, and I think it reinforces what Cameron's saying, too.
Jonathan Greenblatt, head of the ADL, said on Sunday, quote, "We shouldn't expect Dave Chappelle to serve as society's moral compass, but disturbing to see at NBC SNL not just normalize, but popularize hashtag anti-Semitism. Why are Jewish sensitivities denied or diminished at almost every turn? Why does that trauma trigger applause? These fucking people. these people are just, and I'm telling you this straight up, okay? When it comes to the Jews, here's the silver lining. It tends to go from 0 to 60. Like, they're not wrong about that. But there's a reason for that. And the reason is them, okay? When it comes to the Jews, every society where shit has gone down with these people, it always goes from 0 to 60. It never starts with burning all the Talmuds in Paris, okay? It never starts that way. But frequently, it seems to end that way. And it gets there very rapidly.
So anyway, I just thought that was funny, but it's true. And
That's absolutely true.
You know, I think I said this a couple weeks ago, but you know, I don't think Jewish power and Jewish tyranny, Jewish theocracy, totalitarianism, right, that's coming, that has not yet peaked. Right. We haven't seen the door-to-door raids on anti-Semites. We haven't seen censorship really, other than our Spotify getting taken down. We haven't seen censorship kick up.
That is in my 2026 predictions.
That is all going to be coming. Mm-hmm. And when that comes, it will be very obvious who's doing it and why. And if you think anti-Semitism is off the charts now, you haven't seen shit.
Wait until Nick Fuentes gets arrested,
bro,
because of anti-Semitism laws.
Yep.
Right.
We'll see what happens. But one of the things I'm fond of saying is that you don't get wartime elites from peacetime,
yes.
right? Again, there's this sort of prevailing sense on the internet that everything's controlled, and I have done as much as I can to explode that myth. And we've talked about that tonight, right? The government really isn't under anybody's control. And that's very scary. I mentioned a moment ago, I don't think anybody's really controlling the Ukrainian regime, right? I don't think a lot of these governments in Western Europe are under the care of responsible governance. I think they're a fragmented, fractured mess led by a lot of infants, peacetime elites that have degenerated. And let me be very specific in terms of what I mean. You know, when I was 6 years old, I remember distinctly, as children do, I remember distinctly driving my dad. I was living in Germany at the time. This is around the time that the Gulf War started in 1990. I remember distinctly driving with my mother and my brother to drop him off at the tarmac to get into a cargo plane and fly over to the Middle East. And there was a sort of industrial sprawl of Humvees and Bradleys and tanks, you know, all this sort of thing. But after that, I went home and I cried. And I cried because I knew exactly what was going on. I knew that my father was about to deploy to go fight in a war. I wasn't a child. I understood and processed what was happening. And when he was over there, it was tough. It was tough on my mom. It was tough on my brothers, on my brother. We were living off post in a German-speaking village. We were quite isolated. We didn't have a whole lot of support. And I saw, you know, even at 6, or I heard anecdotally about a lot of families that sort of imploded during that experience. Guys came back from the war, and their wife and kids were gone, okay? Recently, I was in a very dangerous area, and I saw homes obliterated. I saw animals, you know, running rampant in the street. I saw a very young, under 10 child dead in the street.
Oh, Jesus.
These things have a real impact on you when you see them, right? They change you. You can't unsee them. And effectively what you see is the fragility of life, the collateral damage that occurs specifically in war. The people that are running the West today, whether you're talking about these Eurocrats in Brussels, you're talking about these grifters on Capitol Hill, they don't know the first thing about any of that. They are remote from it. To them, it's a video game, and people's lives are expendable. They don't know the first thing. They don't have skin in the game. They don't viscerally understand the lives that they hold in their hands. And I say all of that to say this. It's easy to be a chicken hawk until all of a sudden you start to feel the heat. And what's going to happen in 2026 is that the pressure is going to build. And you're going to see a lot of these people who really aren't in control anyway, who are acting, who are theatrical characters playing a role. And that's how they got to power in the first place. People like Donald Trump, you're going to see them exposed. You're going to see governments fall and crack and break. You're going to see regime change because these people are not wartime elites. They don't understand what's going on. They are degenerative. They have lost a sense of reality. And that's what 2026 and the rest of the decade is going to expose. And that's a good thing because that means we're going to get a turnover of elites, and it's about damn time.
It's painful, though. It's painful for the average citizen to come to these realizations. I mean, one of the most painful realizations I had of my adulthood was realizing that we're the bad guy. We're the bad guy, that we perpetrate war crimes across the globe.
You mean America? The
Yeah.
American empire is
Yeah.
the bad guy,
Yeah.
right? We're not. We're the good guys.
We're the good guys.
We're the good guys. But the American empire, the American deep state, the CIA, the FBI, the fucking police.
And that
those
is
are the
going
bad
to
guys.
that's going to be revolutionary from a psychological perspective for the average
Yeah.
American. And then I think they will develop the tools to balkanize in a way that is going to benefit us and white communities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really think that a lot of this stuff, there's a lot of big problems in the world. There's and big problems that people better than me have tried to solve. And I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but what I do think is investing in your family, investing in your local community, building a network of people that understand what time it is and where we are in this cycle. That is going to be huge. I mean, it's a huge undertaking, but it's going to, that will produce huge results. Like this idea of balkanizing. You can't do that if you haven't built the local infrastructure necessary, if you don't know who the power players are, who the money elite in your area are, who are the landowners and all
Right.
this.
And
You've got
if
to
there's
map all
not
this stuff out.
ideological conformity amongst these people, you basically have to believe the same thing that your neighbor does if you want to build these fiefdoms.
Right. Well, there's the 80% rule, right? The old Reagan 80% rule, which, by the way, we saw there was a clip of Mike Pompeo, former head of the CIA, speaking at a conference recently. Generally speaking, the 80% rule works, right? You find someone where you agree on 80% of stuff, you can usually build something with that type of person. However, these Zionists, if you don't agree, if you are not on board with the Zionist agenda, they don't give a shit if you agree 95%, 99%. If you aren't with them, with the Israel stuff, they will cut you out.
Right.
And so just when you're building, when you're meeting people, keep that in mind.
And
That the Zionists, they cannot be worked with. They must be excluded
Absolutely.
from this entire project.
And when you're doing this 80-20 thing, keep racial minorities in mind. Look at how the Somalis circled the wagons to benefit their own in-group preferences at the expense of their host country. They didn't give a shit. And that's how these people are going to behave. Make sure that these 20% of people that diverge slightly are diverging on minor stuff that they're the same race that you are.
Like, listen, if you can't, like, I get it. There's a lot of tension between Catholic, Protestant, Orthodox, but if you can't get it together enough to work with people like that across these religious lines, sometimes across ethnic lines, depending on where you live, we've got to put some of this petty bullshit aside and find ways to work with one another and build things with one another, or else we are going to get crushed.
That should be our New Year's resolution, except for what you said about
except for
reaching
that
across
minority
ethnic lines.
Bro, you've got to watch the Will Stancil show.
Okay.
I don't
tell me
can't-
anything about it. Stop.
It is,
Stop. No.
the most brilliant piece.
I can't wait.
I have.
There's
seen.
something called the broken glass theory. Maybe
I've
it's
not
the
heard of
broken
this.
window theory. And it's an economic theory. There's a separate one that relates to crime, but I'm talking about the economic theory. And the economic theory goes back to the 19th century. I think it was introduced by a Frenchman named Frederick Bastiat. And the broken window or the broken glass theory effectively was that in order to stimulate an economy that's in a recession or a depression or what have you, a potential way out was to create a government program in which you'd hire a bunch of people to go into urban areas and smash windows, and then employ people to go in and repair them, and that this would sort of create this feedback loop of economic activity, and then you'd sort of pull yourself out of a recession. And what he talked about was the seen versus the unseen consequences of doing this. The seen, which is very easy to measure and calculate and quantify, which is what a lot of people that are particularly informed in our spaces, it's the way they think. I've talked about this before, sort of the right versus the left hemisphere. The left hemisphere is very empirical. It's very visual and material based. And so the scene is, okay, well, I can calculate how many windows were destroyed. I can calculate how many people I have to hire to actually repair them. I can calculate the GDP on that basis of that activity. But what I can't do is calculate the unseen, the economic activity that's not happening because it's been diverted into this sort of self-destructive feedback loop, right? Of smashing things and repairing them, smashing things and repairing them, instead of actual productive work, right? Creating new scientific technology or research laboratories, right? Or a new grocery store, what have you. That's unseen. And so it's very difficult to measure and quantify. Human societies, civilizations change based on unseen forces. And an unseen force that has been percolating in the ether for a long time, that's been festering, is anger. Anger at the government, anger at a broken social contract, anger at living paycheck to paycheck, anger at being lied to by the mainstream media. All of these things are compounding, and they've been accumulating energy for a long, long time. And you see evidence of this in very small doses. For example, over the last few weeks, there have been a lot of farmers' protests in Europe. Mm-hmm. They've gone into Brussels and they're raising hell because they're pissed off. That's what's seen. But what's unseen is the immeasurable number of people, the ethnos, you might say, the national consciousness that they represent. And that national consciousness is much bigger, it's much angrier, and it has yet to fully manifest and materialize. But when it does, you're going to see the dog that doesn't bark, as they say, bark, roar, and it's going to change everything. It's going to shake things up. That's part of the reason I've said to all of you, we're not headed for Dickensian squalor. We're not headed for the gulags. You're going to see a reversal because the energy of the unseen forces that are pissed off, that are angry, that are conscious, that have been aware of these things for a long time, whether it's the racial problems, whether it's the Zionist problem, whether it's the financial fraud, et cetera, that consciousness has gone viral. And now you're going to see it manifest in a scene, in a material sense, after building for, I would argue, 50 years, maybe longer. That's where we're headed.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this poll that I just pulled up. This was from La Repubblica. It was published by The Leading Report. Roughly 30% of Italians are now open or indifferent to a return to fascism. What do we know about all of these different like socio-political theories, right? The 3%ers, right? It only takes a couple percent, single digits, to change the course of a country politically
and
speaking.
We're at an estimated 10 times that. And people have an incentive to lie about this because there are social consequences. So I would imagine that half of people are open to this.
Right. If it's at 30% now, where is it going to be in a year? 60%? Like, it's just going to be flash, boom, it's over. like a lightning bolt.
Right. And
But
what
that's
Cameron
but just real quick, Rebecca, your point is the right point, because nobody really believed in any of this crap. And I'm very tired, frustrated, fatigued, agonized when I hear, well, it's the propaganda. Look, if you actually examine the data, the social economic data in the United States, the demographic data from various surveys, what you're talking about, the Pew Research survey, there's a number of these things. I think it's a general social survey. What does it show? It shows that white people, the most brainwashed and propaganda is, oh, I believe that everybody's the same. What do? They self-segregate. They seem to amazingly, spontaneously all end up in the same neighborhood. Wow. How is that possible? They were propagandized, right? Didn't they go to the human resources equal opportunity brief? I went to that, didn't you? But it never changed hearts and minds. It was the taboo. It was your neighbor saying, you really shouldn't say that out loud, because if you do, I can't talk to you anymore. Not because I don't agree with you, but because I'll lose my job, because I'll lose my pension, because I will be socially ostracized. Our views are the mainstream views. It's not some sort of remote pocket of conspiracy theory on the internet. It's what most Americans think. Most Americans for decades have said, close the border. Most Americans for decades have pointed to black criminality. Everybody knows about this shit, and they have for a long, long time. What comes next is that the taboo is broken. And when the taboo is broken, all of a sudden, the opinions that people already have are going to manifest in seen political action. That's where we're headed.
Right. I was just going to say that the propensity for violence in any given society is commensurate with the amount of visible physical suffering being experienced by that populace. So I mentioned earlier, and I say this all the time, which is kind of annoying, but do we have the guts to do X, Y, and Z? Well, right now we don't. But if your kid starves to death, or your brother gets shot or imprisoned by the police, people are going to be willing to perpetrate and execute a commensurate level of violence than that was inflicted upon them. And I don't think that we can really foresee right now how these things are going to spread. And Nick Fuentes is right. These things go fast. And we're really at that tipping point. And I think everybody can kind of feel it, which is why this Somali story was so big, because we're not looking at the story. We're not looking at the fraud. We're looking at what is the reaction of people going to be when they experience their own suffering and they have to look upon this community that has been given so much for doing nothing, an out-group and people that are racially different from us. That gives white people a visceral reaction. And I don't think that the elites really understand what's coming here.
No. And if they did, they would be managing this whole thing differently.
Yes.
Totally different.
Yes.
Like there was this video, I'll pull it up, right? Because they bitch about anti-Semitism. They bitch, but blah, 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 right? And their response is always censorship, shut it down, criminalize, punish, pass the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, blah, 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 right? And it's all very serious and that has not been working. Like, newsflash, your strategy is not working. You're not containing anti-Semitism. You're not stopping any of that. You're not, changing people's opinions on it. And then I saw this video from, do you follow Tracks NYC?
Mm-mm.
Bro, I love this guy. He's this like Jewish shop owner in New York. He gives away like gold and silver on the streets. He's been bitching for years. Get gold, get silver, blah, blah, blah. And he did this funny video. And it's like, this might actually do. I just wanted to play it. It's so funny.
I'm clipping this coin to teach you an Ashkenazi Jewish business lesson. So what's the lesson? Well, you clip off a little gold and then you sell the coin for full price is what you wish I would have said. I'm tired of teaching you about business and metals and seeing comments like this. Instead of appreciating the heads up I've been giving you for 5 years, you want to call me a coin clipper? Well, guess what? These limited edition clip coins are available on tracksmicey.com, 15% below spot. Figure that out on your own. And mint condition bullion on bulliontradingllc.com.
Good
So
Lord.
what's the lesson? I used your hatred and stupidity stupidity to benefit my business the Ashkenazi Jewish way. So
I don't know where I was going with that.
Gross.
But it's just super funny because, yeah, there's nothing that's going to stop this train. And it's like, as Americans continue to suffer, as we can't get jobs, as we can't get houses, and then all of a sudden our leaders are going to continue to lecture us on why we need to go to war and why we need to bomb Iran and why we need to criminalize speech. It is going to have the opposite effect.
Of course, yeah.
And it's just unbelievable.
Yet I think that we do kind of have a positive, strangely, I feel more optimistic about the state of affairs right now than I have in the last decade, because I'm not alone in my thinking anymore. I don't have to hide anymore. And that's powerful. And that's what Cameron was talking about, finding the power within us. And we are doing that. We are doing that on the show. You guys are doing that in your own communities. Dave has talked about how he hears little old grandmas JQing all over the place.
True.
And we're seeing it emerge in so many ways. And for that reason, I'm optimistic about the state of affairs right now.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a quote I want to read just briefly from a book called Situational Awareness. I'm not a huge fan of the book, but this quote stuck out because I think it's very apt and apropos to what we're describing on this program and what we've advocated since we've created the podcast. And this is what Leopold is the guy who wrote it. This is what Leopold says. He says, "But the scariest realization is that there is no crack team coming to handle this. As a kid, you have this glorified view of the world, that when things get real, there are the heroic scientists, the uber competent military men, the calm leaders who are on it, who will save the day. It is not so. The world is incredibly small. When the facade comes off, it's usually just a few folks behind the scenes who are the live players who are desperately trying to keep things from falling apart." That's reality. That's what's actually happening. That's what goes on in the Situation Room. That's what's happening on the battlefield. Things are complex. They're dynamic. They're very chaotic. They're impossible to control with confidence. And one of the reasons I read all of that to you is because I do think a part of what fuels this conspiracy narrative that asserts again and again that it's all controlled, as I've said before, it's the Bilderbergers or it's the Rothschilds or it's the Committee of 300, whatever bullshit organization you want to come up with that's secretly plotting everything and schematically controlling the world. There is a comfort in that people feel that, hey, yeah, maybe I'm herded into a gulag, but they've got this. It's all part of the plan, as well as offloading the responsibility on your own shoulders to actually do something, to take action. And I would submit, while it's scary to assume or understand or process the reality that, yeah, the president of the United States may not be in control. Maybe he doesn't really know what he's doing. Yeah, that's scary to some degree, but it's also an opportunity, right? Because if you know what's going on, if you are more competent, if you are aware of sort of the base reality of things, then you can take action. And then you are more empowered and you can actually dynamically change the circumstance that you're in. That is a more empowering way of looking at the world. And it actually happens to be the truth.
I think we should end on that note. Get Cameron off to bed.
Cameron, you've been dismissed.
Yes, Mom.
So I guess we're not talking about the banking crisis. I could have used that Trax NYC clip to segue into a commercial.
It's okay. We can talk about it. Let's let Cameron go to sleep.
Thank you so much, Cameron. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Cameron. Thank you so
guys.
much for your insight, your contribution to the Backlash. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week.
I just want to say one more thing. I apologize for foiling your plans. I just want to say one more thing. There was a good interview that somebody on this program did recently. I know he's surprised to hear me say that. He shouldn't be, but it's a good interview that our very own Dave Riley did on Millennial. I can't remember what the hell it's called. Yes, Millennial Woes platform. in any event, it was a very good interview that I encourage a lot of you to watch, because not only does Dave biographically go through his history and his experience in this space, he talks about his father and so forth, but he also talks about a rift that he had in his past. And this is something he's well known for at this stage. He's talked about it a little bit. But if you watch that program and you see how Dave handled that past controversy, he handled it with non-reactivity. And I emphasize that because I talk about masculinity a lot. And masculinity, as it's portrayed, particularly by the bros on social media, is usually outlandish. It's very gratuitous. It's very exaggerated, right? You see a guy in a gym, or you see an Andrew Tate who's smoking a stogie and pretending he's tough, or what have you. By the way, just as an aside, Andrew Tate had the shit kicked out of him because he picked a fight with somebody he should not have been fighting. In any case,
really?
If you watch Dave Riley on this program or in this interview, he went through an emotional spat with this guy, but he was non-reactive. He was measured. He complimented the other side. He talked objectively about what happened. He absorbed the event emotionally and otherwise, and he went on his business. I mention all of that because this year for me, because I'm in the future, this year is going to come fast and furious. Things are going to go wrong. They're going to break. There will be wars of some magnitude that happen. It's going to occur. The sort of train that's derailing, it can't be stopped at this stage. As Dave said, we're on the train that we're on, and it's going to derail. You know that it's coming. You know that it's going to be difficult. You know that banks are going to go bust and so forth. But you can react to that with non-reactivity, not emotionalizing or emoting, not getting on social media and screaming bloody murder, not going on Twitter and retweeting some viral tweet that you didn't verify, that you didn't validate, because a lot of that's going to happen next year. Instead, you want to be like Dave Riley on that program in that interview. You want to be measured. You want to be compact. You want to absorb contact, and you want to maintain your frame. Be non-reactive. When you're non-reactive, when you're masculine, you make rational decisions. You respond to what's happening in a measured fashion. You do not succumb to the hysteria, because a lot of people, certainly the normies that don't watch our program and they may be passively aware of what's going on, but they're not engaged. They're going to succumb to a lot of fear and panic and hysteria. And that is not the way to respond when shit really hits the fan.
But I'm
What
still
you
allowed
wanna
to be hysterical, right?
non-reactive.
This is a lesson on masculinity, so I can do whatever I want.
And listen, after that, we're going to need the audience's help here. We need the Dave haters to super chat in. My ego I'm not going to be able to fit through the doorway to my bedroom tonight. So we're going to need your help. Please get your last minute super chats. And Cameron, thank you so much for
Thank you so
joining
much, Cam.
us.
See you later.
Cheers. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Happy New Year. Bye.
But really,
Get a room, you two.
I need the haters to come out. Let me have it.
They will.
Let me have it. But yeah, so I mean, we got all kinds of stuff going on. We got coin clippers on X. And listen, just putting it out there, Cameron is right. I think that, the banking industry is going to be going crazy. We've seen twice in 1 week, they've raised margin requirements on precious metals at the COMEX, which is, suppressing the price of gold and silver and all of that. But if you would like to invest in non-clipped coins, okay?
Guaranteed unclipped coins.
You can go to atlasbullion.com/backlash. They have got the finest, the best gold and silver. You can have your own golden age with Atlas Bullion. They've got silver subscriptions starting as low as $55 a month. But really, you should be investing a little bit more than $55 a month in silver and gold. They've got gold subscriptions from as low as $200 a month. You can get a... Here we go. Of course, as soon as camera goes, I'm getting sick again. Hold on.
It's because we have the utmost propriety around Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
It's not out of respect for the audience. It's just that we're afraid of Cameron.
Cameron coming in and reading us the riot act. But please go to atlasbullion.com. You can get your hands on fractional gold. You can get ounces, bars, kilos, whatever it is that you need to secure your future, to secure your financial sovereignty so that you are not dependent on U.S. dollars, because this is something that we didn't get into that I think is going to be a big deal. We'll probably do an episode about this.
We didn't get to a lot. I
We
didn't
get
use
to so much. But
half the stuff I put in the outline.
this chart shows the amount of U.S. debt that needs to get rolled over. And if we could look at the highlighted section, that's 2026. They have, let's see, what does it say that they have? They have to roll over. Do we have a figure? Do we have a figure here? Come on, give me the, it's like trillions of dollars of short-term debt. And of course they don't say how many. Oh, there it is. Over $8 trillion.
That's nine. It's 9 trillion, right?
It's over here on the side.
Wait, what's the yellow?
Can I get it? Oh, there it is. See? Yeah, it's about $9 trillion. What's the yellow?
Interest.
That's just the interest. $9 trillion has got to get rolled over. And one of the things that I floated in my little Dave After Dark is, what if we don't collapse? Because U.S. dollars are backed by U.S. treasuries. And we can just print treasuries. We can just roll this shit over. I mean, granted, the interest payments will be crippling. They've already surpassed our military budget, but we could very well see asset prices, gold, silver, Bitcoin, spike in 2026 as they are injecting liquidity and injecting more money into the financial market. So the best way to protect yourself is by visiting atlasbullion.com/backlash and getting on point with gold and silver, not clipped, no Ashkenazi Jews involved at the bullion trading site.
We checked. We made all employees submit a DNA test.
Absolutely.
Before we took them
100%. No, just kidding. But so had to give them a shout out because that is going to be a major.
Someone just said, as soon as Cameron leaves, y'all immediately start acting like children.
Jeez. And there's another prediction that I want to make before we move along.
Tax revolt.
Right.
That was in my predictions too.
This tax revolt thing that's going on, I think that there's a plan. I think that Trump has had a plan to nix income taxes from the beginning, right? I think that a lot of this tariff stuff that they were talking about doing, I think this is part of the plan. And so then Trump is going to come out and say, we're getting rid of income taxes, and everybody's going to go, hooray, Donald Trump. But it's like you were ginned up into that. You were agitated into saying you're not going to pay your taxes anymore. And then Trump is going to give you a pittance. He'll take of the 60% of taxes that we effectively pay every year, he'll take 12% out of that. We'll still be taxed at 50%.
Right.
And everybody's going to think it's this massive win.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the W that you think it is. So be ready for that because it's coming. It's going to be crazy.
Let's do some super chats.
Yeah. Should we do some super chats?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get in here. We'll start over on.
Help us hit our goal, thebacklash.net/super chat, or over on my channel. That is Rebecca Hargraves, blog in the belly of the beast.
The Backlash. We've got Chris Tucker, Trucker Chris. Wow, I read it backwards and wrong. Trucker Chris sent $10. Thanks for the New Year's Eve stream. Cheers. Absolutely. Couldn't think of anyone that I would rather spend it with.
I know, right?
Than you and you, I guess.
No, and Cameron.
Yeah. Let's go over here. What's today's date? It's the 31st. Hello. That's obvious.
I got a few of you.
We do have a couple of... when I found out that I was live last night, it was because our friend Book Track Grooves sent a super chat and was like, holy fuck, why am I getting super chats? Oh, it's because I'm accidentally live.
Someone sent me the screenshot of you realizing you were live. It was really funny.
He sent $10 last night. We must do research like an old unk. Bone broth. Do you got lemons? Bacon.
This doesn't make any sense, but
it makes sense to me.
I do drink bone broth.
Bone broth is very good. I was drinking. My wife made chicken soup.
Yeah.
And so whenever we have leftovers, we put it in a little yogurt cup and freeze it. So then I can just
pop it out,
warm it up, and you got homemade soup. Thank you for the Super Chat. Book Truck Grooves. Queensboro Bridge Enjoyer sent $10. I watched The Order over the weekend, and it was basically a mediocre Lifetime movie. Jussie Smollett's real-life sister playing a sassy black female boss cop in 1983 is hilarious, but the movie is amazingly boring given the subject. Yeah, man. And like, I've talked with like the FBI agent that Jude Law played. I've like spoken with the real guy. The real guy's daughter is like unnaturally obsessed with me. It's bizarre. But one of the big things in that movie that they left out is that Robert Matthews was like an extremist Mormon.
Oh, really?
That wanted to reestablish the state of Deseret. And they just paper over that with, oh, he's a white supremacist.
It has Nicholas Hoult in it. I love that guy.
You haven't seen the movie? Oh, you got to watch it.
And Mark Maron. What the hell is he doing?
The thing I love about the movie is it makes the FBI agent in it, played by Jude Law, it makes him look like a total piece of shit. And in real life, he is a piece of shit. He like stoked, in real life, the real FBI agent, his name was Wayne Maness. He stoked the violence at the 1968 Democratic National Convention. He pretended to be, who was the leader of the Weather Underground? What was his name? Anyway, he pretended to be that guy and like started handing out guns, I think, or I don't know. I've published several tweets about this. He wrote for the Chicago Seed, then he worked for FBI. Anyway, go watch the movie. You'll get it. You'll see it. And the propaganda is like they spend 2 hours making this propaganda movie, and then the very last scene of it is talking about January 6th. And it's like you literally just self-nuked. You nuked the purpose of this propaganda by showing us your hand, and that. So anyway, yeah, The Order. It's a funny movie.
Someone said, Blonde, how do I send a super chat? If you are watching on my YouTube channel, just click that little icon with the dollar bill on it and then send us $20,000. That would be very helpful.
50,000. 100,000.
Oh, but if you're going to do that, YouTube takes 30%. So send it to our website at thebacklash.net.
You could always just send Bitcoin. Yeah, you could. You can even, if you would like to subscribe and give us money on a recurring basis, you can do that at thebacklash.net/donate.
Why is your default personality Jonathan Pollard?
Why is it me rubbing my hands?
I know.
The Queensboro Bridge Enjoyer sent another $10. The only other funny part of The Order involved multiple close-up scenes of the Turner Diaries book, then adding a note after the movie claiming that a copy was found at the January 6th insurrection in D.C. Hollywood is not sending their best. Yeah, I think they wrote that film like during the writer's strike.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but
it was it was written in 2023.
Yeah. The other thing that they don't get into in the movie is the like incredible amount of connections between Robert Matthews and the people in the Order with Operation Gladio, with the CIA. They were like one of the people that they had counterfeiting money. He's listed as a professional counterfeiter. Who uses professional counterfeiters?
Yeah.
Intelligence agencies.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And then you've got people like Robert Miles, who was like the head of the Klan in Michigan, that was like an advisor to Richard Butler and the Aryans and the Order people. He was involved in the training of guerrillas in Ukraine in like 1956. So it's all deep state shenanigans. It's all CIA weird stuff. And the liberals just chalk it up to, oh, well, it was white supremacist terrorism.
Yeah, really.
No, it wasn't.
It's always more complicated.
And it's just like the Russian intelligence services were very much, like McCarthy was right. They were behind the communist movement in the United States. And to the extent that the CIA was anti-communist, they had interest in providing funding and training for groups that would be anti-communist in the United States. There was a domestic Gladio. Anyway, a topic for another season, a topic for another episode. Glamdring sent $20. Can't listen live tonight, but I'll definitely watch later, though. Just wanted to wish the crew a happy new year. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very much appreciated. The Orthodoxer sent $10. Hey, guys, we survived 2025. Dave, your Dave After Dark episode was great. Love you, big guy. Fuck the haters. Also, I became an uncle last night. Brother's wife just gave birth. Another white male baby has been born.
Oh,
congratulations. That's awesome. That's amazing. By the way, remember that couple that met and they got married? They got married. That was in November. I forgot about it.
They sent me some pictures.
I forgot to RSVP.
I texted with them both.
Did we send them a present?
No.
We should send them a present.
I asked them for their registry. I don't think they responded.
Yeah, yes.
If you guys are watching, which I know you are, send us your registry and we would like to send you a gift for your
please.
wedding from the Backlash.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And then write it off on our taxes.
Ooh, there you go. Get our tax planner involved with that. Ian Whiskey Tango Fox sent $10. Happy New Year, Blonde, Cameron, and even Rabbi Dave. Shalom.
Poor Dave.
Shalom. Shalom. Hussar sent $50. Thanks again for the kind message, and I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year.
Thank you so
God
much. We
bless.
appreciate it.
That's amazing. Anonymous sent $10. Did you guys invite Matt Christensen, wife, and his token black friend co-host?
No.
No.
Every time I turn on a show, I'm a spiteful woman, so I like to go and watch how absolutely dismally his show is doing every once in a while. I actually haven't watched his show since we quit, but I pulled it up
I've tried. I can't.
Oh, it's so bad. I pulled it up and it's like gay black guy chink. And then Matt, who's totally bald now. I'm like, what the fuck happened here?
He lost his hair.
Yeah, I think he shaved it. But they're still doing the same stuff.
Finasteride or whatever that is. Finaster.
He doesn't look bad bald.
Hims. He could go online. They've got drugs for that now.
I don't know. Bald men shouldn't try to fix it unless it's
he could
really
just go
dire.
to Turkey.
Yeah. I don't know. No, I mean, when a professional relationship blows up like that, it's like getting divorced from a spouse that cheated on you. There's no reconciling.
No.
There's nothing like that.
Yeah, you just got to move on.
You got to move on.
But you're a woman, so you can't.
No. I mean, it's not like I'm still mad about it or sad about it, but I still have a really strong feeling that I need to enact revenge.
No, vengeance will be the Lord's.
But I was so wronged.
Yeah.
He wronged me so badly and then made it about his victimhood. And it pisses me off every time I think about it.
You've talked about the thing that happened on stream.
What thing?
The tragic thing that you like.
Oh, yeah, I think I tweeted about it, but
you miscarried on stream.
I did.
He would not let you.
Well, it's not like he wouldn't let me, but he didn't offer to let me take the day off. And it wasn't I was 11 weeks pregnant.
Bro.
And I had been miscarrying the whole day, and he was just like, we're just going to go live. And there's the exact moment that I passed the placenta on stream, and I just kept talking about the news through it.
Jeez.
And it was really it was painful, and it was awful, and I was sad.
Brutal.
And he wasn't just take it the day off.
They treat Indian sweatshop workers better than that.
To be fair, I wasn't I'm not showing up.
Well, yeah, but you probably did that out of spite.
No, I just didn't want to disappoint him. And then he does this thing I'm so lazy. I only took one show off for the birth of both of my children.
Right.
And then, it's for a stream. And then when I thought I broke my foot, which was a medical emergency, that was just for the call-in show. And that's what blew up the whole stream because I was 20 minutes late to that stream.
Oh my gosh.
It's dude.
Jeez. Speaking of, you need to have more kids. Reinhardt sent $10.
Hey, Reinhardt.
Dave, I want you to know that I'm going to be practicing my throwing arm for 3 months straight. We got to do this. Dunk Tank Dave? Absolutely.
Reinhardt, can I get you? If Reinhardt comes, then his family of 75 will also show up.
Well, there you go.
You guys have
the whole
74
audience.
kids, right?
There's the whole audience.
Yeah.
We could just do that. Book Track Groove sent $10. Rebecca, thank you for hiring me as intern number 5. LOL, charge them of the crime if we have the evidence.
Which crime?
What are we talking about? Are we talking about the Somalians? They need to be charged and deported. Their money needs to be taken. Their assets frozen.
Yeah.
They need to be sent back to Somalia.
Yep.
Assuming that's what you were talking about. Anadrim sent $100.
Thank you.
Wait. There we go. Sorry, I had it set up for the self-ducking so I could say on the air and nobody would know. I was thinking about going on a rant about you know what we need in this country? A bunch of yeah, see? No, I can't do it. I'm just joking.
You're trying to bleep out your N-words.
I don't really say the N-word.
That's lame.
Tomahawk, sometimes. Tomahawk sent $20 on Rumble, wishing you guys and everyone watching a wonderful new year. Thank you very much. C.P. Took sent $10, wishing you a happy new year. I don't give as much as I would like, but please know that you and the show mean a lot to me. God bless you all. Hey, listen, family first, buddy. So
of course,
you gotta look out for number one.
Do you remember when Stefan Molyneux famously berated somebody for sending him $2?
Really?
When I saw that, I was like, I never want to be that kind of person that's like, your contribution is insignificant. Like, we are grateful for every dollar that comes to this show.
Very true.
Because we are on a shoestring budget here.
Very true. Yeah, if you watch the show on Monday, we've got the trial version of Zoom, so we had to cut the call with Tim into 2 separate Zoom meetings. Oh boy. Jews for Blonde sent $10. Happy New Year. After living in LA the past few years, I moved back to a small town, Connecticut, to try to be a local family man instead of a atomized big city bug man.
Good. I'm glad to hear
I
that.
lived on a street in LA of all Jews, which doesn't feel like anything like the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Different culture. Different whole thing. Did they have an Eruv where you lived?
A what?
The Eruv. It's like the little string that they put around the city, and then because it's enclosed by a string, technically it's all
Jews fooling
indoors,
God.
so they can go out and do things on Shabbos that they otherwise wouldn't be allowed to do. And they have like the Eruv squad in New York that goes around checking like autistically to make sure that the string is up at all times. Like, how come somebody hasn't like started like maliciously cutting the string?
I'm sure they have.
I'm sure that it happens. You know, there was a riot. There was a little pogrom that happened in Crown Heights back in like the 1980s.
Oh, really?
Oh, you didn't hear about this? Yeah, like some black kid got like run over by a Jewish, like I can't remember what happened. I think it was like a black kid got like run over by like a Jewish ambulance, and they like wouldn't take him to the hospital.
They wouldn't take him to the hospital
because he wasn't Jewish.
When was this? The 80s?
It was like the early 90s. Oh, yeah, the Crown Heights riots. It was what a wild time.
Yeah.
I was like 1 year old. Gold makes my cheeks clap sent $10. I love that Cam is kind of scary when he's passionate. Strong daddy energy makes we peons wish to obey his stern admonitions and desires. And then
I hope that I never get comfortable enough with Cameron that I'm not afraid of him, because it's such a huge motivation to perform well on the show.
What is this? I'm pretty sure that's
a dick with jizz.
Yep. I didn't want to say it. You said it. That's gross. Anywho, moving right along. Book Drag Groove sent $10. Are you guys going to get the aristocratic utensil and Aiden Paladin?
Oh, that would be good. Guest suggestions. We're booked up to January 14th, or January 12th.
Yes.
We have Fishback coming on, James Fishback coming on the 7th.
Yes.
Is it the 7th? Yeah,
Yes.
we did a special date
We
for
also
him.
have Christian Secor coming on the 5th.
Christian Secor, and then we have the long-awaited Thomas Rousseau on the 12th.
Yes. And then, maybe aristocratic utensil would plug in nicely.
That'd be great. I'm looking for some guests, so message me on blondes_tweets. Please, I've seen a few come in during the show about the St. Louis meetup. Blondes_tweets.
Don't let her down.
Or you can DM me on Instagram on my personal account that is blondebeast1. I'll find it there too.
She has feed pics there.
No, I don't.
Yes, she does.
It's just pictures of my babies and with their faces blotted out.
Blurred out, yeah. Brewmaster Monk 9356 sent $20 on YouTube. Speaking about getting involved, should I go to an open source intel gathering class put on by a guy that could be a Zionist agent? He has made headlines going after Islamic organizations, and he sent a follow-up tweet saying, I forgot to mention that the guy wants to know my address so his organization can vet me.
No, don't
He
do that.
spoke
Don't do
at
that.
a local political meeting with state-level elected officials attending. Is it sketch?
Yeah, that sounds sketch as hell.
Yeah, bro. That's sketch. I would advise not doing that, number one. Number two, shoot me a DM on Twitter with the names of the representatives that this guy was with so I can send it up the chain.
Yeah.
Because it is good to pay attention and keep track of which elected officials are not really our elected officials.
Yeah.
Hear
Hear that, James Fishback?
Yeah, please send that my way, because that is very sketchy. Don't give Jews your address. What's wrong with you? No. Imperial Surfer sent $5. Me mom died in the holly.
$10 and up.
Well, listen, it's a meme. We'll average it out. I think when we average out, it'll be $10. That song is still stuck in my head.
Oh, I know.
The one with
And
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Not sorry. Anyway, Robert sent $25. Dave, I agree with the looting stage, but doesn't that happen secretly at the end of a second term like a knife in the dark? Bro, we are only 1 year into the disaster admin. Cam's right. Trump probably won't make it. And frankly, I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, I also don't care.
Yeah, no, the looting is in your face. It is obvious. They're not hiding it anymore. It is.
That's when you should be worried about the looting phase.
Right.
And that's the definition of looting.
Right.
It's out in the open, yeah.
It's out in the open. And then you've got people, like I saw a tweet earlier today from like David Sachs. And he's like, quick, we need to make sure that the Treasury bails out the banks. And it's like, bro, we all know what you're doing. Like you're skimming off of the banks. You're taking their collateral. The banks are about to collapse. But you like don't want that to happen because you got the grift going on. So you want them to be bailed out. Bro,
but
how
I
do
think
people
that
not see this?
People don't know what's going on because the financial system is so convoluted.
It is.
It's so convoluted. That's why I like the movie The Big Short, because it explains a very complicated financial process to laymen. And if you talk about shorting or futures or collateralized debt obligations to the average person, they just look at you like they don't have basic financial literacy.
Yeah.
So people don't know what's going on.
No, they don't. I was thinking of recently I was thinking of like studying for like the Series 7.
Oh, you should.
Just like for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Just so that like I can be better at this.
I think you can offer financial advice openly if you pass Series 7, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's I forget what it's called, but there's a test that you take before the Series 7.
Is it 6?
No, I forget what it's called, but it's like a 3-letter acronym. But like they've opened it up so you don't have to actually work at a financial firm to take the tests. So you can just take the test and be an accredited investment advisor. And then we could give you financial advice.
Hey, we should both do it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That's a great idea.
Maybe. I mean, I took the ham radio test and all that. Like, yeah, why not? Anyway, Philly sent $50. Thank you for the big super chat. Hey, you should have Michael De La Brock on. He's in our sphere and he has a channel called Bukana Watch on Telegram, and he covers the Ukraine-Russia war among many other military-related topics.
Why does that sound so familiar?
It's because he was at the wedding that we were at over there.
He's that kind of emo
Yeah,
guy.
he wore the white suit.
Yeah,
Remember him?
I remember. Yeah.
We're still in touch on like several Telegram channels. Yeah, sure.
Oh, cool.
I'd love to have him on.
I met him in Austria in 2018.
Was it 19?
2019.
I think it was 2019. Yeah, and whatever happened to Nick? Remember Nick? Crazy autistic Nick?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
I don't know.
He got banned.
What was
real
his
hard.
name? His last name?
Nick Monroe.
Nick Monroe.
Nick Monroe.
People
Dude, that's a
got
blast
wiped out
from
in
the
this
past.
movement, like left, right, and sideways.
It's an endurance sport, that's for sure.
I do like talking about the old times, though. Like I remember sitting around at Brittany's wedding, and it was Coach Red Pill. We were hanging out.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, God rest his soul. Gonzo Lira, Robin was there.
All of these like crazy Austrian philosophers.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Martin Lipschitz.
Yeah, Martin Lipschitz. There's this photo that my wife took with him, and it pops up on it. We have one of those Aura frames because we don't have like a bunch of like photo. We just got one frame, and it cycles through like a slideshow of all of our photos. And every now and again, that one will come up of him like smoking a cigarette.
Who, Martin Lipschitz?
With my wife. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
I was talking to him, and he was eating. He's this Austrian philosopher. He's Austrian, right?
Yes.
He was eating a whole fish, like bones and all, like a whole cooked fish, and he's eating it, which is a normal thing in Austria, but you wouldn't see somebody doing that in America. And I had something on my shirt, and he like wiped it off, and he was like, "I'm sorry, you had a little thing. It was disgusting." He just like brushed it off my shirt.
Oh man, I forget I can't spell his name correctly.
It was a lot of fun. Those were
Anyway,
better days.
Those were the good old days.
That was before Brittany and Martin Sellner got hit so hard.
Yeah. Of course, now Martin is doing amazing things.
Oh, yeah.
With the FPO.
We always knew he would.
Oh yeah. He's like, if anybody liberates Europe, it's going to be like Martin Sellner.
Martin Sellner, yeah.
God bless him. I've got to read his book too, Regime Change from the Right. Very good stuff. I think everybody should read that book. Sam 15388 sent $10. Cheers to 2026.
Cheers to you too, buddy.
Bro, I'm going to get in bed after this.
I gotta go get my husband a cigar. He just texted me.
What are
Can
you
get me a
doing
cigar?"
for the night? Blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping.
I'm gonna deep clean my bathroom.
It's a secular. I care about Christmas and Easter and the Immaculate. Like those are my holidays.
Yeah.
This is not a real holiday.
I'm starving. I haven't eaten since yesterday.
Ooh, good. And tomorrow's the Feast of the Circumcision. It's a holy day of obligation. If you're Catholic, you got to go to
That's the one
Mass.
where you circumcise all the children, right?
No, it's the feast of when Jesus was circumcised. And, technically he could have redeemed the whole world just from that act, right? One drop of blood would be enough. So anyway.
Don't circumcise your children.
Don't circumcise your children. That is abuse. It's wrong. It is genital mutilation, which I thought we were all against.
Yeah.
We should ban it.
Of course.
We should absolutely ban it.
Jews would be so pissed.
They'd be livid. Book Track Group sent $10. Name 30 people for last 30 years that have committed crimes or created propaganda against us.
Okay, we're not going to do that, but I will say
there is one. There's a piece coming out in Mother Jones about us. I'm eagerly awaiting it. We're going to need your help to ratio these fucking people. Michael,
they asked to send a photographer in, and I was like, Dave texted me. He's like, "Do you want to do this?" I was like, "No." After that Vanity Fair article with Carolyn Levitt, the close-up of, I was like, no, they're going to, no, they can find some picture of me looking.
They'll turn up the contrast on it, make you look old.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can't have it.
Like, I'm not, we had a meeting with him. We, did an interview with him for an hour, and we'll probably wind up publishing the audio from that. It was like us, a Jewish guy, another independent journalist, and Michael Edison Hayden. And you could tell what the bent was. They want to paint us as extreme. And of course, the story started out by talking about the sheriff and this whole debacle, and that has all fallen through. The sheriff was found not liable for dragging that crazy bitch out of the meeting. Only one person was found guilty on one charge of battery, which is bullshit. It's if I touch you, that's battery, technically. So the whole premise of their story has fallen apart before they got it published. And so now I'm 99% sure that it's just a giant hit piece about me.
Great. That's great for me.
And it's hey, do you want to get together so we can take headshots for your profile piece in Mother Jones? And it's why would I cooperate with you at this point?
Yeah.
No.
We shouldn't have met with him, but I don't know.
I was hopeful at the time.
I wasn't.
I was hopeful that we could we're against the stuff happening in Gaza. You're against the stuff happening in Gaza.
No, I wasn't
hopeful.
hopeful.
The people that called you up to write this hit piece about local politics in
I
Idaho,
just really
they're all
wanted
Zionists.
to get out of my house that day.
That was a good day to get out. It was beautiful.
It was really nice outside.
True. Book Track Grooves. Oh, no, we already read that one. Son of a bitch. Musing Trucker. I've got a lot of truckers watching this show. Love it. Musing Trucker sent $50 on Rumble. Dave's right. No one will stop paying taxes. Most people have no idea what it means to put literally everything, including their lives, on the line to declare war on the tyrants like the founders did. Yeah.
I do believe, though, that if everybody had to pay lump sum income tax on the same day,
oh yeah,
that there would be riots in the street.
Yeah, but that's not how it works, right? They get your employer to do it.
Yeah.
They've outsourced the collection mechanism to your neighbors and your employers. And it's done incrementally. So it's if you ever decided to be stupid and go on X and say, I'm not going to pay my taxes anymore, they would you would be fine for a year. And then all of a sudden you would just notice that your paycheck gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And then you find out, oh, the federal government is just garnishing my wages.
Yeah. It pisses me off, though. Every year I make sure my taxes are meticulously done to the letter of the law.
Yes.
And every year it makes me fucking furious.
Absolutely.
It's so angry. I could have so much more income.
Yeah. I'm not a simp for the IRS. I am not a simp for the Fed.
Talk about treasonous, traitorous.
It's unconstitutional.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a friend that spent several years in jail for tax evasion. He's a lawyer, and he literally proved that we don't have to pay income taxes. It is unconstitutional. There is no enforcement mechanism, but everybody just assumes that it's there. And if you sign a W-2, you are implicitly saying, I know I owe taxes. And if you say that and then don't pay them, then you're fucked. Anyway, Bill Biz sent $50.
Hey, buddy. Thank you.
Boink. When Generation Identity was chasing NGO smuggling boats around the Mediterranean, no one would have considered remigration as a viable idea. Nowadays, events like the Somalification of Minnesota are making remigration an increasingly palatable solution. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that fight is done. That is injected into the mainstream. It's there. Donald Trump tweets about it. So that fight has been won for the most part. People obviously see remigration as the solution. Now the issue is driving a wedge between Israel and Western governments. That is that's the hard part. Tomahawk sent $10 on Rumble. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Bill Holter. He claims silver is the blasting cap that will detonate the derivatives market and bring down the global economy.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that. We cut it from we cut it from the outline.
Yes. Big shit going on. I mean, if you don't have gold and silver, you're doing it wrong. Go to atlasbullion.com/backlash and sign up. Get some bullion. Whether or not it's going to blow up the whole thing, I mean, they're just going to bail everyone out again. Or they'll usher in a CBDC, global digital currency, blah, blah, tyrant, tyrannical, yada, yada. Whatever, man. Just get assets that you hold, that you control, that you secure, and be independent as much as possible.
That you believe in and that you understand.
Yeah, like
also.
If you don't believe in gold and silver, then don't do
Right.
it. If you don't believe in Bitcoin, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, by all means, keep your money in US dollars in the bank earning 2% interest.
There are other alternatives.
Be my guest. What, like the SPY?
No, my money's in real estate.
Oh, sure, real estate. By the way, that's another prediction that I have for 2026. I think that real estate here in Kootenai County is going to become much more affordable.
I think so too.
So if you have ever considered moving to North Idaho,
It might be your time.
and joining us on the dark side, I think 2026 might be your opportunity. So, mom and dad, pack your bags. You're coming home. Expelled Groiper sent $10 on Entropy.
Frill, is that you?
Cameron's first point about people just figuring out about the fraud, I'm behind. The general public shouldn't have to be watching the government and worried about where their taxes are going. The government's responsibility is to the people, and we shouldn't have to be watching their every move. Totally agree.
I agree with you.
However,
but we're in that situation.
we have to. It's like if you take a day off, they will run circles around you. This is the whole paradox of democracy. Like, we're the ones responsible for it, and if we aren't participating in it, someone else is, and they're going to do shit for their own people and to the exclusion of us. So
have confidence in yourself. These people they're retarded. I mean, and that's something that's empowering about this. We're competing in the same intellectual sphere as international elites because they really just fundamentally aren't that impressive.
No, true. Their parents were impressive.
Yeah.
The people that built these institutions were impressive, but they handed it off to their kids who have no earthly idea what they're doing. And they're fucking it all up, and it's great. Love to see it. We've got some super chats from you, I know.
Yep. Who has cigars tonight?
My place is closed, I think. I can call them, though.
My husband's sending
I've
me
got
on
a cigar you can have.
Oh, it's okay. I don't want to take your cigars. My husband's sending me on a journey.
Got to get on the pipe train, smoking pipes. It's much cheaper, much more
When you
affordable.
tell somebody to get on the pipe, it's definitely...
Not the crack pipe, okay?
Okay, I got a few over here.
Maybe once in a while.
$100 from Six Sigma. Thank you so much. Love, Dave. Great show yesterday. Happy New Year.
I want the haters.
I
Where
know.
are the haters?
Dunk tank. Dunk tank.
Let's go. Musing Trucker sent... Oh, no. I read that.
Imports still suck. Sorry, just got here. Don't know if this was already covered, but do you guys think the Somali fraud is just a payment for the land, Somaliland, where they plan to send displaced Gazans to? I'm sorry you sent $50 for a question that we so thoroughly answered before you realized. But at least I actually don't think that that's what it's for, but I do think Jews are responsible.
Yes. Go back and watch the stream with DD Geopolitics that we did today. She really is good. That program is good. Big shout out to Sarah Bills.
Hey, Sarah.
And our friends at DDG.
She's got a lot of haters.
Oh, yeah. It's like, just like me. That's why I like her. It's like, hey, if you don't have haters in 2025, you're doing it wrong.
Thunderstorm. 80% of billionaires are celebrating with their super yachts.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did you see
Bartholomew.
they're all in St. Bartholomew's Island?
Seriously?
Yeah. Bro, like one bomb. Disavow. Absolutely not. Violence is never acceptable. But, hey, Putin. What you doing, bud?
I know, right? For New Year's, the island is next to Epstein
Little St.
Island.
James. Yeah, that's right.
Damn. Jason Crutchfeld, no note. Thank you, sir. And I saw that you are new to the stream. Welcome. Hope you enjoyed it. This is 5 Junior Raising, my first super chat. Love Backlash and Blonde. I love you too. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And Later Days, who is my IRL friend. He's the best. Happy New Year. Love you. I love you too. Thank you so much. Why did I say this like it's a deaf? What was the word I'm looking for? I said love you too.
I don't know. Yeah, here, because we don't have Cameron, and you haven't said that you have to go yet. We can watch.
This
one thing
is the island of St. Bartholomew. And all of those purple little triangles are billionaires and their associated super yachts. This photo was taken today because all of these billionaires and their super yachts have decided to converge on St. Bartholomew Island for New Year's. You see, every year around New Year's Eve, the world's elite class, the billionaires and their pet celebrities and pet politicians,
I bet it's awesome there.
Gather here, specifically at the Eden Rock Hotel for a super yacht festival. For reference, this is where the Eden Rock Hotel is, if you're in the area. Also feels important to point out that this is where St. Bartholomew is, and this is Jeffrey's Island.
Oh,
and
good
this year's
Lord.
guest list is stacked. We've got that evil bald man, Jeff Bezos, Miriam Adelson, that Israeli lady, or American lady. I don't know. Her allegiance kind of depends on the day. And then a bunch of other folks. Also, notably, Dr. Phil is there. I saw he was on the list this year as well. This next figure just drives me a little bit insane, so I have to tell you. But over the next few days, over 80% of all of the wealth on Earth will congregate on St. Bartholomew. Last year, 173 people attended the New Year's Eve celebration at the Eden Rock Hotel, which is located right there. And we are literally looking at most of all of the wealth on Earth right there. Just thought that was really interesting. This?
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
Don't they feel concerned?
I would be.
I would
mean,
be
like,
too.
listen. I mean, I'm not saying that violence is the answer, but like, where are all of these Democrats that are like, I hate rich people?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, bro. Here's your shot. Here's your shot. Like,
I know.
You don't get one CEO. You could get 80% of the world's wealth in, like, less than a square mile. Don't do that. Don't commit violence. Don't do any acts of bad things. That's bad. Murder is wrong. Repent. Believe in Jesus Christ. But it's just curious. They don't care. We got a couple super chats over here. Oh, we got those. We got the ones on your channel.
Yeah.
Mike Q2F7J sent $1.49. Thank you. We Are Everywhere sent $4.99. Later Days TV sent $10. Happy New Year. Love you.
I read that one too.
Okay. Good.
Thank you guys so much. That was a great show. Cameron was really on fire.
Yeah, he was. Somebody's got to clip that because he was like ready to burn the world
yeah.
down. I got to give a big shout out to idahotallow.com. They've got soap and skincare that don't have endocrine disruptors that make you gay. They make you feel clean. They make you feel young. They get rid of the lines on your face. And if you have problems with, like, acne or eczema, I can't legally say that this fixes that. But you should try. But you could try. They've got all kinds of wonderful things, and it smells good. It feels good. It's great. They've got some limited run soaps. This new Pacific Northwest Fireside Forest soap that was commissioned in league with our other sponsors, odggsupply.com. They've got rucksacks, they've got gear, they've got time-tested military equipment that will be handy in a pinch or in a year of like calamity and collapse like 2026. So you don't want to be caught flat-footed. You want to be prepared, and you want to be prepared with the best people. And I still don't have the script, which is my fault. But listen.
Oh, wait, I got it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You read it. But they test all of their products. They test all of the blankies if you want to go blankie mode. By the way, both Rebecca and I are.
Yeah, we got our blankies.
We're blankie mode.
Do you want to read it? You want me to read it?
I'll read it. I don't care. Let's see. ODGG Supply is our preferred source, my preferred source for legit domestic and foreign military surplus. They've got gear that's been proven in conflicts across the globe, ready for your next adventure. The guys at ODGG Supply put the gear through its paces so you can count on a quality kit next time you are in the field. Using gear from all over Europe in the Cold War to modern U.S. military from the global war on terror, from blankets to rucksacks, tools to clothes, ODGG Supply, more than any other military surplus store, focuses on the functional gear that you need to survive and thrive in the field. You know, they even have those little like Tabasco sauce packets.
Oh.
It's, you know, the little morale boosters that you need.
I'm going to watch this video of Andrew Tate getting beat in the face.
ODGG Supply is on YouTube at Pacific Northwest _Gorilla and on X, PNW Gorilla, and on Instagram at ODGG _Supply. For the latest updates and sales and new inventory, use promo code Backlash25 for free shipping on all U.S. orders. And remember, these guys over at ODGG Supply, they're like driving around Seattle. They're tracking down daycares.
They're doing stuff.
They're doing meetups. Once a month, you can go rucking with them. You can meet with them.
They're
in real
helping
life.
with floods.
They're helping with floods. So when you support them, not only do you support us, but you're helping them support their community, which is what we all really need. We need community. So support them. And also our friends at Antelope Hill Publishing. They are fighting to keep history alive and equip a new generation of dissidents with the information to fight the anti-white regime. Their varied catalog includes newly updated and expanded third edition of Dr. Kevin MacDonald's Culture of Critique, the essential modern text on Jewish identity, Dr. Ricardo Duchesne's magnum opus, Greatness and Ruin, and the definitive scholarly examination of European exceptionalism, as well as works by Kerry Bolton, Paul Kersey, Josh Neal, and others. Antelope Hill recently brought David Irving's iconic Nuremberg the Last Battle back into print and have numerous translations of historical works from eras such as Fascist Italy, National Socialist Germany, and Civil War Spain, previously unavailable in English. There's also plenty of books on contemporary issues such as transgenderism, the opioid crisis, and Christian nationalism, as well as history books, novels, and children's books. So whatever your interest is, you're bound to find books you like at Antelope Hill, all professionally published with sleek modern cover art. Help us and help our people by checking out companies that share our values and fight for our cause. Visit antelopehillpublishing.com. And while you're online filling up your bags, you can go to Above Time Coffee Roasters and pick up a bag of hand-roasted, small batch, premium
it's hard to say.
Coffee. It's delicious. We've got the Nordic Roast Blonde up in my coffee pot right now. That's what I've been drinking. We're going to be trying the medium roast going forward as well. Got to pick up a bag of that. So please visit AboveTimeCoffee.com. And listen, if you use promo code Backlash10, you'll get 10% off your order with Above Time Coffee Roasters. And if you use promo code Backlash10, you can also get 10% off your order with Antelope Hill. Also, brief housekeeping thing that we should have done up front. To all the winners of the Backlash giveaway, you will be receiving your things in the mail soon, but we haven't mailed it yet. We were going to write everybody a thank you letter. And with all of me being sick and the holidays, we just got a little carried away. So we will get that in the mail to you by the end of this week. So please don't start posting about how we scammed you or something. We're going to get you your books and your coffee and your soap. So just chill. We'll get it to you. Relax. I've been sick. Anyway.
Sorry, the live chat's talking about circumcision.
Oh, yeah. Don't do it. We should probably do a whole episode.
Somebody said, Blonde, every family can make their own decisions. It is a violation of the bodily autonomy of a baby's sexual organ, and you're going to talk to me about consent.
No,
is
there's
that
no
is that
consent.
really what you're gonna fucking do right
It's
now?
a violation. Like even if you're a libertarian, it's a violation of the NFP, right?
The non-aggression principle.
the NAP, nap time. Yeah, you can't do it. Don't do it.
Don't
it's
do it.
bad. It leads to problems. It's not hygienic.
It's
It has
unattractive.
Nothing to do with cleanliness or any of that.
It doesn't reduce the risk of STDs. None
Absolutely
of that's
not.
true.
No, it's
It
not.
reduces the risk of penile cancer. That is true.
Yes.
The average age of onset for that cancer is 91.
Bro.
Who cares if you get dick cancer when you're
And
91?
not only that, go look at what St. John Chrysostom said about these things. If you're a Christian and you believe in the new covenant, you should not be participating in the ways of the old covenant. That covenant is finished. It's done. It has been abrogated by Christ's death on the cross. You need to circumcise your heart.
Circumcise your heart.
You need to remove the callousness of sin from your heart
Remove the foreskin of your heart.
and open yourself to the love of Jesus. And that's what they're going to preach about tomorrow at Mass, because it's the Feast of the Circumcision. They're going to get up and say, you don't need to do that anymore. That's abolished. You need to circumcise your heart.
Winter in the Forest said, "Are we going to end the year talking about penis heads?" Yes, apparently. That's how it's going to go. A happy
listen.
New Year to the beautiful Backlash family. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's all going to be uphill from here, right? Downhill. We've only got room to improve. How do we... None of that sounded good. We're here with you. It's going to be a wild ride.
And we will see you on the 7th?
We'll see you next year.
Oh, yeah. We'll see you next year on Monday. Normal time.
We had to make that joke. Yep. Christian Secor will be joining us. So tune in. It'll be good. And
Find
with
all of
that-
our links on the backlash.net/subscribe.
Oh, no. We've got more super chats. Gorilla Hand sent $50. $50. Happy New Year to everyone and Merry Christmas. I have a question. Is Cameron... Thank you for the big super chat. Flayer Cake sent $14.88. I wanted to hear Cameron. There's no Cameron, only Dave babbling about circumcision. I'm going to bed. Good night.
We sent Cameron to bed.
Yeah, we did. So thank you for those big super chats. Gorilla Hands, at me if you want a refund.
Yeah. Yeah. We can talk about it in DMs, okay?
And with that,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye, guys.
Bye.